Marvellous. Early. Yes, welcome out here to Woden Park Oval for the final of the ACT Premier League soccer game. I'm Murray Shaw, and joining me out here on the microphone is Steve Dospot. Good afternoon, Steve. How are you?
Good afternoon, Murray. It's it would have been better under normal circumstances, but I guess we've got a great grand final to look forward to under some somewhat trying conditions at Woden Park at the moment. The conditions are rather wet, and play has just got underway in the grand final of the Premier League for 1993. And let's go through the teams, Murray, for Southern Cross Club.
Yes, Mitchell Siggs in goal. We've got Johnny Nelson, Danny Serena, Bruce Grassick, Glenn Armstrong, Ian Shaw, Luka Georgievski, Craig Rankin, Darryl North, Lee Gibson-Hamilton and Tony Pangallo. And for Olympic,
we have Michael Descarolis in goals. Right back is Con Cobas. Sweeper is Angelo Ambrosino. Takasava Niti is the right fullback, number 3. And we got Spiros Siros as number 4, one of the stoppers, and Toplika Popovic as number 5. The midfield is Arseni Popovic, Vic Fernandez, number 8, and Nigos Popovic, number 9. And the forward line is Bastian Polo, number 10, and John Paul Janke, number 11.
Play has actually got underway here. The game was scheduled to start at 30:30, but it's got underway a few minutes early. Olympic took kick-off, and so far players barely got out of the middle third of the park here. But as we speak, John Paul Jenke with the ball running towards the Southern Cross goal, and the referee for today's game, Gordon Dunster, awarding the free kick there to Olympic, and it looks like it'll be Tarkus Arvanitis to take the free kick. As I said, very trying conditions out here, very difficult to see because of the weather. Some reports that the game was going to be called off, but of course the game has got underway.
And it's now Takis Arvanitis for Olympic taking the free kick, looking for one of his forwards, just hoping somebody would be underneath that, but the ball goes out for a throw-in to Olympic by the looks of it again, to be taken by Toplika Popovic. And the throw is taken. And it's still Olympic in possession. So they push forward. Still Olympic right in the goal mouth, and the goalkeeper just letting the ball go out of action there, as looks like it's a corner. In fact, it must have come off one of the defenders, Murray.
Yes, Gianpaolo running into the box there, and it knocked the ball into one of the, I think it was Bruce Grassick, the Southern Cross defender, and Mitchell Siggs let it pass, thinking that it was a goal kick, and the referee Gordon Dunster awarding the corner. Arvanitis curls in the left foot. Siggs goes for the punch, knocks the ball out of the penalty area, and it's Serena on the ball now, being pursued there by Arvanitis. Seems to have the pace there, and he's got past him. In fact, it's Lee Hamilton. And Arvanitis wins the ball and flicks the ball downfield for Jenke, who chests it off, trying to give the ball to Arseni Popovic there. 3 Popovic brothers make it very confusing. Of course, Nagos, Arseni and Toplika Popovic all playing for the Olympic club. Still 0-0 out here at Woden Park in the final of the ACT Premier League soccer game between Southern Cross and Olympic.
Well, Murray, this is obviously a great moment in these players' soccer careers. You went through this yesterday. You played for the University of Canberra in the grand final. Just what is going through the players' minds at a time like this?
Well, nerves, I suppose. Certainly, this is what it's all about. This is what the season comes down to. A lot of talk and in the press recently about whether or not these Final Four playoffs, as we speak there, a long throw coming in there from Craig Rankin, and the ball just went straight across the goal line. And just a touch would have put it past the goalkeeper in for a goal. But yeah, certainly nerves. This is what the season's all about. As I said, a lot of talk in the press as to whether these Final Four competitions are really worthwhile, whether it should just be the first past the post who should take it out. And I think it was Olympic who actually said, you know, that competitions throughout the world, it's always the first past the post who takes the trophy, and that the ACT Soccer League is fairly unique in that fashion. But yeah, I mean, certainly nerves would be the main factor.
So now it's a goal kick at the Southern Cross end of the field, with one of the Southern Cross players just booting the ball upfield. And the ball comes down with John Nelson trying to get to the ball there by the looks of it, but he couldn't quite reach it. And this time it's a throw now by Olympics Concobas. The ball off Southern Cross again, so the ball being left for Concobas, and Cobas in fact leaves it for his number 3, Takis Avanites. Throws it forward, looking for Giampolo. Ball put through to the middle, and Southern Cross intercept, and referee Gordon Dunster has seen the infringement there, and looks like offside. Murray?
We should explain to people listening out here why the coverage sort of seems fairly disjointed. We should explain that we are in the mobile studio of Triple S here, and being wet, we can't be outside, so we're inside in front of a fairly fogged up window. So we're sort of squinting our eyes trying to pick up some numbers, but we're doing our best to bring it to you. And it's Takis Avanites with the throw there, down here right in front of us. And he plays the ball down the line looking for Arseni Popovic, and the ball going out there, and the throw again to be taken by Takis Avanites.
Well, it's a great day for a number of players out there, of course, Murray. Baz Giampolo, at 34 years of age, one of the oldest players out there, and with a great history in the game. Giampolo will no doubt be, this I guess would be one of his last games. Hopefully he'll keep on playing, but at 34 I guess logic must dictate that at some stage you must sort of step down a little bit from this level of football. Not that he needs to, he still is one of the best players in Canberra.
Yes, he certainly is. I was talking to a fairly biased Olympic supporter who sort of thought that he was probably the class player in the competition still at the age of 34. And it would be a shame if he did discontinue playing soccer, because he certainly is the sort of player who can turn a game at any instant. And I was talking to Ian Hayward yesterday morning, and he certainly said that Baz Giampolo is one of the players that he's really going to make sure his team are watching out there. Ian Hayward being the Southern Cross coach, and he's really going to make sure that Baz Giampolo's tightly marked. John Paul Jenke, I suppose, also Steve, would be the other player that Southern Cross really need to worry about.
Certainly is. John Paul Jenke is a very fast and very deceptive player. He's got good close ball skills, and he certainly can trouble the defenders on a normal day, let alone on a day like this when it's a very slippery surface, and all he needs is that one slip and he's through. And now it's Southern Cross coming through, and in fact it's a free kick given against one of the Olympic players by the looks of it, and attention being sought.
Spiros Zeros there, bringing down Lee Hamilton just on the edge of the area. Bit of confusion as to whether the indiscretion or the foul took place in the box, and he's awarded a penalty there. He's gone over. Gordon Dunster's gone over. He's gone over and consulted with his linesman as to whether the infringement was inside the box, and the linesman has given him the nod and said, "Yep, that the foul was in the box," and so that is a penalty. And it looks as though it'll be Danny Serena to take the penalty, or Craig Rankin, one of the two. They're both mulling over the ball at the moment. And Lee Hamilton's still down receiving attention. And certainly Angelo Ambrosino there, the Olympic captain, got a few harsh words to say to Gordon Dunster. Gordon Dunster, very experienced referee, and made the right decision by going over and consulting with his linesman as to where the infringement took place. He was behind play, so he couldn't see it. And his linesman over there gave him the nod. I'm just trying to check who that linesman is. I think it might even be, it's not Frank Exposito on that side, no, it's Chris Blain. Chris Blain, the linesman there. So it'll be, Craig Rankin to take the penalty here. Michael Dascaralis in goal for Olympic. The usual mind games that go on before a penalty taking place here. Dascaralis trying to get the better of him, and here it comes. He's gone the right way there, the keeper, but that's a goal. That's 1-0 to Southern Cross, and a very, very early goal in a game. We should point out that the major semi-final just a couple of weeks ago finished Southern Cross 5, Olympic 1, and I must admit I wasn't expecting to see too many goals being scored out there today, but that's one. That's Southern Cross 1, Olympic 0. Just pushing the ball there to the keeper's left. The keeper went the right way, and that's a goal there. Olympic 1, Southern Cross 0. The goal scorer there for Southern Cross, Craig Rankin. And the kick-off there now. And the ball just in the centre circle there. Yes, Steve, so a sort of a surprise start there, and it was sort of, you know, there was a lot of Southern Cross. There was a lot of indiscretion. There was a lot of confusion as to whether it was a penalty or whether or not, whether the indiscretion took place inside the box. But the penalty it was, and 1-0 now. Southern Cross leading Olympic, and it's Olympic now who've got to fight the hard yards and try and get back into this game.
Yeah, it was certainly a very early goal, as you said, Murray. In the 7th minute of play, Lee Gibson was brought down from our vantage point. It looked like just on the edge of the penalty box, but linesman Chris Blain was obviously a lot close to the action, and referee Gordon Dunster had no hesitation in pointing to the penalty spot. And of course that goal was put away, that penalty was put away quite simply by Craig Rankin. It looks simple from here, but obviously a penalty is always quite a hard task to fully complete. Obviously there's a lot of nerves when a player takes the penalty, but Southern Cross 1-0 ahead through that early penalty by Craig Rankin.
Yes, the ball now just over on the far side of the field. Southern Cross trying to clear the ball. The ball hitting the referee there and falling in favour of Southern Cross. And it's the defender Grasic there, looking at out wide and right here. As we said, very difficult to see the players' numbers from inside here. But Lee Gibson now, the ball getting into the Olympic penalty area. He'll get a shot on here. He holds it up and tries to push it onto his right foot when perhaps the left foot shot was perhaps the better option, and the ball hitting one of the Olympic defenders and falling out wide on the left here, where Ambrosino cleans up the ball, knocks it inside to Gianpaolo. Gianpaolo onto Jenke, with the ball cleaned up at the back there by Ian Shaw, the veteran Southern Cross defender there. He's playing in the sweeper role for Southern Cross.
Well, Gibson looks like he's going to be quite a tricky customer for the Olympic defence there, Murray. A couple of times that he's had the opportunity to menace the Olympic defence. On the first occasion, of course, he was brought down, and just then he looked quite at ease on the ball, just jinking his way left and right, and in the end, I guess the final pass was not what it should have been, but looks like he's going to be quite a handful for Olympic if his current form will continue.
Yes, so certainly not short of star attackers. Southern Cross, certainly Tony Pangallo is a past ACT Player of the Year, and 2 years ago he was the ACT Player of the Year, and last year's ACT Player of the Year, Johnny Nelson, was also in the Southern Cross ranks. So they're certainly a class team, and Lee Hamilton and Tony Pangallo certainly make life tricky for defenders, and we can see by how many goals they actually put past teams this year. They scored the most goals out of any side, as Southern Cross just breaking there, and Ambrosino cleaning up the dregs at the back there. Yes, they scored the most goals out of any of the sides in that Premier League, basically due to the strength of their two attacking players, Pangallo and Lee Gibson Hamilton.
Yes, and obviously the Southern Cross team scored 48 goals and conceded 27, while Olympic scored 42 and conceded 27. So both of these teams are very evenly matched, Murray, for this all-important game for them, the grand finals. The throw comes in now, cleared by Ambrosino, just a high ball, looking for somewhere to put it, but now Southern Cross back in possession. And again, just a long clearance up, hoping to catch one of the Southern Cross forwards, but the ball went straight to the keeper, Michael Dascarolis, who's trying to settle his team down at the moment in this constant downpour that is obviously making life a little bit hard for the players, or greatly, very hard for the players out there on the pitch.
Yes, we should point out, go through the results of earlier games of Southern Cross, looking to hit the long ball downfield, looking to link up with Tony Pangallo. The reserves, Premier League reserves game ended up in a victory to Belconnen, who defeated Tuggeranong 3-1 there. It was a very, very close and exciting encounter. And in the youth grade, Olympic ran out the winners there, defeating Southern Cross 2-1. A goal coming in just the last couple of minutes from a keeper's error. Keeper dropped the ball, fairly soft header, and dropped the ball on the line, and Olympic running out the winners there in the youth grade, 2-1. And now it's Nelson on the ball out wide on the left. He knocks the ball back for knocking the ball back there for Luka Dorjevski, and the play coming to a halt there. Nelson now trying to link up with Pangallo, but a man of Pangallo's height, very difficult for him to win a header in the air, and the ball just clearing Pangallo, and Dascarolis there cleaning it all up in the back line for Olympic. He kicks the ball out, and ball going towards the halfway line and over the sideline for a throw to Olympic, to be taken there by Tarkas Arvanitis.
Murray, you mentioned before that there are three brothers playing for Olympic, the Popovic brothers, Toplika, Arseni and Nigosh, and of course we should mention that Southern Cross Club has its share of family togetherness, so to speak. They have 3 brothers in their team as well, the Rankin brothers, John, Alan and Craig. And at this stage, of course, only Craig's on the field, but John and Alan will no doubt make an appearance at some stage. All 3 players, of course, came across from Canberra City and are now very useful additions to this Southern Cross club that was promoted, of course, this year. This is their first stint in the Premier League in Canberra, and what a way to come into the Premier League, having come in as novices, as the new boys. They finished second to Olympic. Olympic were the minor premiers, but Southern Cross finishing second, and of course are now in the grand final, and obviously Coach Ian Hayward couldn't have hoped for more.
Yes, certainly right there. I was talking to Ian Hayward, as I said, on the Saturday morning, and he said what a great season it's been for him. He was also saying how much easier it's been for him as a coach to have experienced players who are really willing to get out there and give it a crack at this, the first opportunity that they get in the Premier League. Certainly, as I mentioned, Nelson and Pangala, they've certainly got a lot of class players, but to gel a team together in the time that he's had and to get them into the situations that they have been in is certainly a fantastic achievement.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this match develops. I guess having such an early goal come in this match will put a different complexion on this game, Murray. I think Olympic will be now pressing to go forward, and of course that might play into Southern Cross's hands, because that'll leave them exposed at the back. But at this stage, Southern Cross certainly seem to be more aggressive. They've got a more attacking forward, or more attacking lineup. They're playing a 4-4-2 combination, while the Southern, or the Olympic team rather, has got a little bit more of a defensive lineup at this stage.
Yes, Arbanese on the ball out there, wide on the left, looking to cross the ball in, but easily cleared there by one of the Southern Cross defenders, and the ball cleaned up at the back there by Lee Hamilton, who tries to link up with Pangala. It's a very good ball and finds him in the far corner. Pangala taking on the defender, but Arbanese got the better of him and knocks the ball out for a corner. And certainly there, the long balls of Tony Pangalo is something that they like using this. They've enjoyed using this year. Just knocking the ball over the backs of defenders and having Tony Pangalo run onto it. And it'll be Tony Pangalo himself to take the corner. A lot of the play's been centred around the Olympic penalty area, and Pangalo floats the ball in. It falls there for a player who I'm struggling to see.
Ian Shaw tried to get that ball back in, Murray, but he wasn't real pleased with the effect of his pass there. But now it's Olympic back in possession, as one of the Olympic players just puts the ball forward looking for Bastian Polo, but Southern Cross had the ball momentarily, but it's back in Olympic's possession. The ball coming back into midfield, so Olympic using their middle players to build this formation up. There's a long-range shot from number 7 for Olympic, Arseni Popovic there, tested the keeper, as Mitchell Siegs just went down and took that ball quite safely. But under these conditions, of course, a shot like that could be absolutely fatal if you don't get it, because it'll just skid off the ball at a million miles an hour, and goalkeepers hate to see that ball go into the back of the net, Murray.
It's certainly right, and it was a shot there by Arseni Popovic, one of the Popovic brothers, as we mentioned before, and Mitchell Siegs, safe hands there, and now it's Olympic on the ball in midfield. That's out wide for Jenke. Jenke really needs to get involved in this game and perhaps run at those Southern Cross defenders, and that's exactly what he's doing now, and tripped over there, but Gordon Dunster ruling it that it was a dive and told him to play on, and now it's Arseni Popovic on the ball. He plays it out wide for his brother Nagosh, and back into the middle for Vic Fernandez Jr., who knocks it back to the very experienced defender Angelo Ambrosino, who pumps the ball along towards the Southern Cross penalty area, sort of in sort of English style, just heaving the ball upfield, and no problems there for the goalkeeper Mitchell Siegs, who punts it out himself just over the halfway line, and Ambrosino cleaning up at the back there, putting the ball safely over the sideline for a Southern Cross throw. Very difficult in conditions like this to play sort of a flowing game that Olympic sort of like playing. Conditions are very, very wet underfoot, and certainly a very damp and heavy ball. It's going to make it difficult for attractive football, but you know, certainly conditions like this. Bit of a shame that after a week of such good weather that the weekend turned out like this.
It certainly is, and given the fact that conditions are so bad, I think it's credit to the Canberra soccer community that so many people have turned up. I guess there are something like 700 or 800 people here under these atrocious conditions to cheer their teams on in this, what they hope will be their hour of triumph after a very hard season for both of them. Obviously, this is the last hurdle to overcome to become champions for 1993, as Mitchell Siegs there just went down to a ball that was quite dangerously bobbling up in his area. So obviously this is the crunch time for both teams, Murray, and you mentioned before that nerves is going to play a big part in whichever team comes out victorious this afternoon. But on paper, I guess Olympic must look a little bit more composed. They have a lot more experienced older players in their books or in their team. But so far it's the younger Southern Cross club that's doing all the running.
Yes, and we should just mention as we were speaking there that Lee Hamilton broke loose down the right-hand side, and his left foot shot was deflected away for a corner, and the corner, of course, to be taken there by Tony Pangallo. As you were speaking, I was having a look at the monitor in front of us here, and it's really very, very evident how wet it was. Certainly the middle around the centre circle, a lot of water just coming up underfoot as the players were running, and a lot of water just being flicked up, so it's very evident how wet it is. The corner there, short corner taken and knocked back to Darryl North, who flicked the ball into the penalty area, and the shot there by Danny Serena, safely saved by the goalkeeper, Olympic goalkeeper Michael Dascarales.
And there was Lee Gibson again, Murray, just ghosting around that goal area. If Dascarales had made a mistake, if he had fumbled the ball at that stage, Gibson would have been there. It would have been 2-0. So Southern Cross much more mobile at this stage, as we said. The efforts or the activities of their forward line are causing a lot of problems to Olympic at the moment.
Yes, they certainly are. As again, play just sort of centred around that middle third of the park. Neither team really can take control there. The ball played long down the left-hand side towards Lee Hamilton again, and he was cleaned up. In fact, it was Danny Serena, and he was cleaned up there by one of the Olympic defenders. The ball now out wide for Con Kobas, and he's had the ball. No, it's not, in fact, it's Tarkas Harvanidis. Just again, just repeating how difficult it is out here just to catch the players' numbers due to the conditions. Heavy rain and a foggy window, making it a little difficult for commentators and spectators alike. And the ball there, good tackle in there by Darryl North. He's renowned for his rugged style and his throwing himself around in tackles, and certainly did it again there.
Bruce Grassick for Southern Cross there, becoming quite prominent on the right-hand side of the field, Murray, as his right-hand flank forays are starting to pay trouble Olympic just a little bit more as we speak. It's Grassick on the ball, trying to get through. He does get through, and in fact he's tripped there by Takis Arvanites, as it could have been quite a dangerous situation had Bruce Grassick got through on that occasion, but as it is, it'll be a free kick to be taken by John Nelson, the Southern Cross captain, one of the most experienced players on the Southern Cross side, just lifting that ball goalwards, and a glancing header there from Gibson again, went across the goal mouth, and now it's Jim Polo nodding it back to one of the Popovich brothers, and the ball's forward again, but intercepted by Southern Cross, and it's Southern Cross pushing forward again. Olympic now trying to just settle this play down a little bit, and I'm sure that the more experienced heads of the Olympic players will be starting to dictate terms to their players to just settle it, cool it a bit. Let's get control, as it's now Southern Cross back in possession.
Ball floated in there by that man again, Lee Hamilton, and the attempted scissors kick by Tony Pangallo was ineffective, and now it's Olympic breaking away on the ball now. Vic Fernandez Jr., who floats the cross in, and it was a good cross, and John Paul Jenke going up high there for the header, and he got a touch, but the ball just floating out over the goal line for a goal kick. But certainly a bit of effort being shown there by John Paul Jenke, and perhaps that might lift some of his other teammates. And
there was a good move by Vic Fernandez too. Fernandez is a very experienced player. He's played for the Canberra Metros, and obviously he's back at Olympic this season, and he's proving to be quite an asset to Oscar Langoni, the Olympic coach, as Vic Fernandez comes with a great reputation. His father was a great player back in the early mid-60s, early 70s with St George in Sydney, of Argentine origins. The Fernandez family have contributed a lot to local soccer, both in Canberra and of course in Sydney. And Vic Fernandez Senior is still very prominent in with the youth, with the young Socceroos. He's one of the assistant coaches, and he's been very useful to the Les Shine Floggetti Thompson combination as an assistant coach over the past few years.
Free kick there being awarded to Olympic on the edge of their 18-yard box, or just before the 18-yard box, and Angelo Ambrosino takes the free kick and pumps it downfield into the Southern Cross half. And a bit of aerial ping-pong going on there as players trying to get control of the ball. And in the end, it's Pangallo who breaks free, pursued by Kobas, and a good tackle there by Kobas, but doesn't completely get the ball away. And now it's Darryl North on the ball. He takes a shot, and well saved there by Descaralis. Under these conditions, the ball will be skidding a lot, and he got his body behind the ball. And I listen to all young keepers there: get down, get low, and get your body behind it. That's exactly what he did, and it was a good save there. Now Southern Cross on the ball on halfway. And breaking down the right side here is Bruce Grasic, and tackle there affected by Tarks Arvanitis. Popovic plays it inside for Ambrosino, who knocks it back to Arvanitis. Tarks Arvanitis under an injury cloud before this game began. There's a bit of a worry about his fitness, but his coach Oscar Langoni got him out before the game commenced, and put him through his paces, and he came through with flying colours and started the game at left back. And it's Arvanitis to take the throw. He puts the ball inside for Popovic, and back, who plays it the 1-2 back to Arvanitis, and he just pumps the ball downfield off a Southern Cross player for another throw in to be taken by that man again, Tarkus Arvanitis.
Well, Arvanitis certainly is showing no sign of that injury cloud that you mentioned, Murray. He's proving to be quite effective back there. And a couple of times he's been the last man to stop Bruce Grasic, who we mentioned is making quite use of the space that he's got on the right flank. But certainly Arvanitis has been equal to the task of stopping him on the occasions where Bruce Grasic has made a run through. So now it's Southern Cross with the throw, looking for Lee Gibson. And the ball just recovered by Olympic, and a long ball forward, looking for the lone man up the front for Olympic, Baz Giampolo, just waiting for it. And now it's Olympic with a break as Janky puts a long ball through. Giampolo on the ball, just he's got great ball skills, so his defenders will have to watch him closely as Giampolo lays the ball back. And a great goal there from number 7 for Olympic, Arseni Popovic, as Giampolo just jinked on the ball, laid the ball back. And in the 26th minute of play, Olympic equalised. So Olympic won through that goal from number 7, Arseni Popovic. Olympic 1, Southern Cross 1.
Yes. Great goal there scored by Arseni Popovic. But great work there by Jenki and Giampolo as well. Giampolo received the long ball from Jenki out wide on the left. Turned one man, knocked the ball at a 45-degree angle there for Arseni Popovic, and he rifled his right foot shot into the right corner, or the keeper's top left-hand corner, and Mitchell Siggs had absolutely no chance of saving that one. A very, very well hit goal there by Popovic, and now it's out wide here on the left. It was Ambrosino on the ball, and Southern Cross's penalty has been nullified, and the score after about half an hour out here at Woden Park in the ACT Premier League Soccer Grand Final for 1993 is Olympic 1, Southern Cross 1. Goals for Olympic coming from Arseni Popovic, and Craig Rankin with the penalty for Southern Cross. The long throw there taken by Craig Rankin and cleared well by Tarks Arvanitis, and the ball breaking towards the halfway line, and John Nelson on the ball trying to link up with his centre partner. And the ball there just bobbling about in the area, well controlled there by Michael Descaralis, who throws the ball out wide on the left here for Arvanitis, and he pumps the ball up wide looking for Jenki. Jenki there, sorry, I don't think it is Jenki, no it's not, in fact it's the goal scorer Arseni Popovic, and he was brought down there, and the referee Gordon Dunster had no hesitation in awarding the free kick. And it's Vic Fernandez on the ball to take the free kick.
It's a very dangerous position for from Southern Cross's point of view there, Murray, as the ball will just skid off the ground, as we mentioned, under these conditions. Fernandez has got a very hard shot on him, and he will no doubt test Mitch Siggs with this attempt, and he does so, and the ball skimmed through the player's legs there, but way off target there, so I guess no danger in the final analysis as far as Southern Cross was concerned on that occasion, but certainly wouldn't be too keen to give away too many infringements within a 20-30 metre radius under these conditions, Murray.
Can't play in the wet conditions for that last goal though, because the ball never ever hit the ground. The shot there, the shot from Arseni Popovic, as we've mentioned a couple of times already, thunderously hit into the roof of the net. But the ball going out for a throw-in now to be taken at the back there by Craig Rankin, and he throws the ball down the line, just looking to make those easy yards, and the ball put out there by Tarkas Arvanitis, and out for a throw to be taken there by again by Craig Rankin, just waiting for the ball to come back into play. About 12-15 minutes to go in the half, and the score here: Olympic 1, Southern Cross 1. Certainly a few goals. We talked about the attacking brilliance of these two teams. There's a great diving header there by Con Cobas, and the ball taken there by Jenke. Jenke plays the ball back, all sort of the ball is deflected back to Arvanitis, who plays the ball down the line, looking for Arseni Popovic. A lot of the play, Steve, seems to be taking place out on this on our side of the ground here, out on Olympic's left and Southern Cross's right.
Yes, luckily for us, Murray, otherwise we wouldn't see a thing, I don't think. But as it is, you're right. The combination of Bruce Grassick and his midfield has proven very effective down the right-hand side, and the balls that have, as a result, gone through to Lee Gibson have been excellent, and put a lot of pressure on Olympic. But Olympic, to give them credit, have fought back very well, and we mentioned that the experienced heads like Sebastian Giampolo and John Paul Janke and perhaps Nigos Popovic should start dominating soon, and they have taken control of the midfield of this match now, as far as I can see, and obviously it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to become the more dominant force as this match wears on. Certainly at this stage it's very, very even with a goal apiece, and chances have been few and far between, but I guess overall Southern Cross must have the more of play, or the more opportunities on goal at this stage, Murray.
Yes, when that penalty was awarded early in the first few minutes of the half there, and Southern Cross took the lead, I could imagine a few heads would have gone down the Olympic camp thinking, oh no, it's going to be a repeat of 2 weeks ago when of course they lost 5-1. But as you said, full credit to them, they've fought back. As the free kick there, taken out wide on the right there, was floated in towards the penalty area. Mitchell Siggs missed the attempted punch. The ball floated right across the goal line and over the other side, and the ball there being taken by Spiros Chiros.
Well, there was an extremely dangerous move on Olympic's part. They came up, they crossed the ball. Mitchell Siggs couldn't get to the ball, and there was nobody on the left-hand side of the field there for Olympic to capitalise on that. In the end, by the time the ball was, an attempt was made to recover the ball, the angle was too great, and I think it was number 5, Spiros Chiros, who came forward for Olympic on that occasion. But now it
was actually Toplika Popovic, Spiros Chiros playing in the back there. We're just getting the numbers confused. Just one of many problems we're having out here, and the ball there being cleared by Angela Ambrosino into the crowd of umbrellas over here on our side of the field, and out for a throw-in when they do eventually retrieve the ball. And certainly the rain's still teeming down out here at Woden Park with the score: Olympic 1, Southern Cross 1. Around about 10 minutes to go in the first half. And play, of course, would go into extra time, and then, if needed, penalties, should the scores be locked 1-1 at the end of normal time. But a long time to go yet.
Now it's Craig Rankin for Southern Cross to take the throw. A long throw specialist. The ball goes high into the Olympic goal mouth, headed out by Arseni Popovic, or in fact it's number 3, Takis Arvanitis, who got his head to the ball. And on that occasion, the ball just ricocheted off one of the Southern Cross players, out for a goal kick now to be taken by Angelo Ambrosino. In fact, it's Michael Descarolis who's trying to position one of his players, but in fact it's Ambrosino who takes that long punt upfield, and a great kick going forward, almost just past halfway. In fact, Ambrosino, another one of the experienced players in this Olympic lineup, former Canberra City and Inter Mineiro player. He's obviously a very valued player. Now it's Vic Fernandez trying to put his right-hand flanker away, and now it's number 7, Arseni Popovic, and the ball comes forward looking for Giampolo, but the ball's cut out. But it's back in Olympics possession again as Fernandez comes through, and the ball just kicked away from Fernandez, as Olympic are now starting to put a few more meaningful forays upfield together, Murray.
Yes, the ball there being knocked up by that man again, Tuggeranong, and the ball just being knocked up and down the sideline here, just in front of us, and eventually going out for a throw-in for Southern Cross. I was just thinking, as I was speaking about the possibility of penalties at the end of this game, they'd need a few cars out there on the field with their headlights on if the game went that long, because it's pretty dark out here at the moment, and should the play continue for another hour and a half, almost be pitch black by the time we got around to penalties.
Yes, I do recall an occasion a few years ago, Murray, where that situation was almost the way it occurred, where the game had got delayed, or a number of the earlier games went into extra time, and in fact car lights were needed to facilitate the penalty shootout. But let's hope that won't occur here, as I don't think either team would like to win on penalties. I think it's always a much more palatable way to win a grand final through normal scoring process, but obviously we're a fair way into the end of the season, and that's part of the reason that there's been problems with grounds here for this grand final, and I think we're seeing the result of it. Ground like Woden Park, which I guess isn't one of the premier grounds in Canberra, having to be used for this grand final.
Yes, certainly Majura Oval was one that was considered, but that of course has got cricket pitches on it now. Bruce Athletics Field was another ground being considered, but that's being resurfaced as a shot coming in there from Danny Serena, and just easily cleaned up there by Michael Dascaralis. Yes, Bruce Athletic Field I suppose would have been the ideal position, and certainly for us commentators would have been quite nice too in conditions like this, but that wasn't to be, and it was on Thursday that the Soccer Federation finally made up their mind and took the game to Woden Park, as the skills of Baz Giampolo there, falling over and finding the ball at his feet. He jinks a couple of defenders. Oh, tries to knock a very delicate ball inside for Nagos Popovic, and the free kick being awarded there by Gordon Dunster. And again, skills of Baz Giampolo being shown there. Maybe a bit of luck on his side there when he fell over and found the ball at his feet, but he was able to chink two defenders and just touch that little ball inside. I think it was around about 1981 he played for Australia, wasn't it, Steve?
Well, Giampolo didn't really play for the full Australian side. He had his opportunity, but for some reason that defies me, I can't remember that Baz really played any meaningful matches for the Socceroos. He should have. I think he's one of the most talented players that have ever played in Canberra, and he was certainly one of the stars for Canberra City, Inter Monero before that, and then Sebastian Giampolo and Valeri came across to Canberra City as a package deal, if you like, and he certainly scored some great goals and created some fantastic sporting memories for the supporters of Canberra City in years gone by. But he's still doing that here this afternoon. You say that it was possibly luck, but I think a player of his calibre makes his own luck, Murray, as the goal that Olympic came back with was Giampolo's creation as well, where he didn't panic. He had players around him, but he just neatly or calmly passed the ball back, and Arseni Popovic was able to score that great goal from some 30 metres out.
Yes, if you just tuned into Sunday Live, just repeat that score again. 1-1 out here in the ACT Premier League Soccer Grand Final between Olympic and Southern Cross. The goal scorers for Olympic, Arseni Popovic, and a penalty for Southern Cross by Craig Rankin. About 6 minutes left to go in this half. And Steve, looking at this first half, fairly even.
Certainly, well, the scoreline would suggest it's very even, of course, 1-1, but I think Southern Cross has had more of the first half of the first half. Olympic, I think, has come back into it over the last 10-15 minutes, but I'm more impressed with the mobility of the Southern Cross forward line. I think the players of the calibre of Danny Serena and Tony Pangallo and Lee Gibson has been quite a surprise package here this afternoon. Their speed and their mobility on the ball has been, I think, more effective up to this point than Olympics, but certainly Olympic has got the experience to come back, and there's a long way to go in this match before we get a deciding goal, I guess. But at the moment, it certainly is very even with the goals, 1 goal apiece, with the goals, of course, coming the first in the 7th minute through a penalty from Craig Rankin for Southern Cross Club, and the equaliser from number 7 for
Arseni Popovic
for Olympic. Yeah.
Ball, bit of a lull in play there as one of the players was being attended to, and now the ball down in the Olympic area. Angelo Ambrosino there being molested there by Danny Sereno. A bit of a laugh between the two of them, I think. Hopefully all in jest, and the throw in there to be taken wide on the left by Tuggeranong. The referee, Gordon Dunster, now having a word to Danny Sereno about that challenge on Ambrosino. Bit of niggle there, bit of thought that it might have been a bit of a retaliation there, and the throw in taken by Tuggeranong. He's claiming that the ball never went in, and that would in fact be his throw again, but the ball did go in, and so it's a Southern Cross throw to be taken here by Craig Rankin. He knocks the ball downfield looking for Lee Hamilton, and it's Ambrosino who cleans up the flicked on header by Lee Hamilton and pumps the ball downfield, but again the ball being knocked downfield again, and already Steve on the far side of the field, a few car lights already.
Yes, well, I wonder if someone, and in fact they're fog lights, Murray, so I hope there's not a fog coming in from the other side, from the Woden Valley side, as we have Southern Cross again, just forcing Olympic to put the ball out for a throw. This is about midway between the half and the corner line, as it'll be Craig Rankin once again to take this long throw, and it's almost worth a corner from this position, Murray, as Rankin's throw comes in, and again it's headed out by Tuggeranong for Olympic, and it'll be Craig Rankin again. Yes, these long throw specialists, Murray, are a great asset to any team, and of course under these conditions when anything can happen if a ball glances off ahead. There goes Rankin's header again, and it lands in front of Nelson, but can't get to the ball, and in fact the ball ricochets off one of the Olympic players, and again the ball just bobbling in mid-air as it's headed away by number 5 now, Toplika Popovic. And it's Olympic in possession, looking for the long ball through to John Paul Janke. He's through. Janke with only, and in fact it's number 7, Avanites, pushes the ball in, and a great save there by the keeper, as I couldn't quite see the number of I think it was Giampolo that came in on the end of that pass, but a great move by Olympic, a great breakaway there by number 7, Arseni Popovic, in fact, who tried to get past the keeper, but in fact he put the ball back into the middle, and I think it was Sebastian Giampolo whose thundering shot was saved quite dramatically by Mitchell Siggs there. So Southern Cross breathe a sigh of relief now as it's Olympic back in possession again, putting the ball forward.
I think, Steve, looking at the window there, and I was watching it on the monitor, I think actually Janke there, as we've talked about his pace and his problems that he'll have to defenders, I think it was actually Janke who got in behind the defence there and knocked the ball back for the goal scorer Arseni Popovic, and his side foot shot went straight to the keeper. Well, it didn't in fact go straight to the keeper, it was a good save by the keeper, diving to his right and palmed the ball out, and a good run there by Janke, and that's what Janke's style of play is, running onto those balls and hassling those defenders, and certainly goal scoring opportunity, and one of the better goal scoring chances we've seen for Olympic in this second half. Just a few in this first half, I should say. Just a few minutes to go in the first half. Still locked at 1-1 there as Con Cobas gets the ball out wide on the right there. Not the greatest kick ever, and he's only put the ball straight to Johnny Nelson, who links up with Pangallo. Pangallo trying to find Hamilton inside, but cleaned up at the back there by Spiros Chiros, and it's now Baz Giampolo who settles the ball down and plays it out wide on the right to Nagos Popovic, the right half, who of the three Popovic brothers has probably been the least involved in the game out wide there on the right. As we said, a lot of the play being focused down here on Olympic's left, and now it's Johnny Nelson trying to get onto the flicked header there, and cleaned up again by Ambrosino, but knocked back in the middle there by, I think it's Daryl North on the far side there, just occurring right in front of the floodlights, and hence a little difficult to see. Yes, it is Daryl North there taking the throw, playing the ball down the line, trying to link up with a player who is obscured from our view, and he knocks the ball back inside for the shot to be taken. It's gone in off a cruel deflection there. The ball we're slightly our view of that was slightly hidden there because it occurred behind one of the many umbrellas that are being placed up here at due to the rain here at Woden Park. But I'm just trying to look at the goal scorer there. We'll get that to you as soon as we possibly can. But it's now Southern Cross 2, Olympic 1. Out here at Woden Park Oval. Southern Cross now 2 at Woden Park. Southern Cross 2, Olympic 1 here at Woden Park. And Steve, it really came out of nothing there because the shot was barely hit, and the deflection there beat Dascaralis on his left. And as I said, our view was obscured because of the many umbrellas, but still trying to pick up who that goal scorer was.
I think it could have been Ian Shaw, Murray, but as you say, it's very difficult for us to see. Even the vision that we do get is quite distorted by the rain and the accumulation of dirt on the window that we're looking through. So it's a little bit hard for us to judge at this stage. But it was a great goal from Southern Cross's point of view. But as you so rightly put it was a very cruel deflection that went past Descarolis. It was almost a speculator type shot. It wasn't didn't have any power behind it, but it sort of just let's see what comes of it, as I think it was Shaw who put it across. And in the end, Descarolis could only just watch in amazement as the ball trickled into the right-hand side of his net. As a corner now comes in, and melee in front of goal, is all we can see is
Mitchell Siggs there cleaning up the ball. The very wet penalty areas, the ball just bobbling around in there, and Siggs was able to dive on top of it. And he slows the play down, waits till his players get upfield, and then pumps it upfield himself. And this rain's still coming down here and making the ground conditions even worse out here at Woden Park. And it is a bit of a shame that a season it's been so interesting, so tight and action-packed, that conditions should ruin what the grand finale of the 1993 season. The free kick being knocked in there by Ian Shaw towards Bruce Grassick, and the header just going over the top of Michael Descarolis' goal and out for a goal kick. As we said, just a couple of minutes to go before half-time. And Southern Cross have the lead. And speaking of that, very unlucky that they should take the lead so close to half-time. I imagine the Olympics coach, Oscar Langoni, would have been quite happy to take his boys into the dressing sheds and give them a bit of a talk at 1-1. But 2-1 certainly makes life more difficult. Just on the stroke, almost on the stroke of half-time, as Nelson tries to link up out wide here on the right with Lee Hamilton. But it's Spiros Siros there on the ball, and he pumps it downfield, trying to find John Paul Jenke, and his attempted a header just fell delightfully for Daryl North, and now it's Vic Fernandez on the ball in front of us, I think. And yeah, Vic Fernandez there, and the throw-in to be taken here in front of us by Tarkas Arvanitis behind quite a few umbrellas, and he knocks the ball inside for Nagos Popovic, and he's attempting to link up there with his brother Arseni Popovic, and the ball cleaned up at the back there by Bruce Grassick. And now it's out wide on the right. John Paul Jenke on the ball, and he attempted to jiggle and turn and beat his defender. And that's half-time here at Woden Park Oval. And just quickly before we hand you back to the studio, we'll just run you through what's happened out here in the first 45 minutes, or what we've been able to see of the game. And at half-time, the score here at Woden Park Oval is 2-1, Southern Cross leading Olympic. The goal scorers, we think, Craig Rankin and Ian Shaw, and for Olympic it certainly was a great goal by Arseni Popovic. So out here at Woden Park Oval, the score Southern Cross 2, Olympic 1. You are listening to Sunday Live. Hello, Murray. Yes, welcome back out here to Woden Park Oval. The kick-off just taking place there. Olympic kicking off, and the ball just going out over the sideline. Well, no, in fact, the referee Gordon Dunster awarding a free kick to Southern Cross there. And during the break, we tried to find out who that goal scorer was, and we think we know. Even a lot of confusion on the sideline as to who it was, because, as we said, conditions out here make it very difficult to see. And we come up with the answer that it was probably Bruce Grassick. Bruce Grassick knocking the ball in, but some doubt as to whether Danny Serena got a touch on the end of it. But I think it's going down in the books as a Bruce Grassick goal. So still 2-1 out here to Southern Cross over Olympic. And Olympic will really be looking to score one quite quickly in this second half, and Southern Cross, of course, looking to hold them out.
Yes, Murray, there's a bit of a hold-up in play now as referee Gordon Dunster is waiting for the ball to be played back. And now, in fact, play is underway now as Southern Cross now, of course, running from right to left. Olympic now clearing the ball upfield, looking for John Paul Janke. Janke on the ball, just jinking past his player, and still John Paul Janke using his pace to get around his player. John Paul Janke into the penalty box, and a diving attempt there by the goalkeeper, Mitch Siggs, and the ball in fact has been adjudged to have gone out for a corner as John Paul Janke came inside the penalty box, and his hard attempted drive from about 15 metres out struck Mitch Siggs' hand and the crossbar or the post, and went out for the first corner of the second half. Yes,
the ball there, the shot from Janke deflected by the keeper Siggs onto his post and out for the corner, and as Janke floats that corner in, ball falls out there for Tarkus Arvanidis, who tries to play it back again out wide for John Paul Janke. A great run there by Janke. Again, we've said what a valuable player he is when he's running at the defenders, and again another great example of that there when he took on his defender and just beat him with sheer pace and a good turn, and that's what is vital for all good attackers. And great cross-field ball being hit there by Janke, and the player there for Ian Shaw there for Southern Cross cleaning the ball up, and the throw-in to be taken out wide here by Con Kobas. Falling there for Giampaolo. Giampaolo using his strength to hold off Bruce Grasick, and the ball there falling in the middle there for Vic Fernandez Jr. But Gordon Dunster felt that Vic Fernandez used his arm to push off the Johnny Nelson, I think it was there, and have ordered the free kick to Southern Cross, and the free kick to be taken in the back there by a player, Glenn Armstrong, and clear at the back for Olympic by Angelo Ambrosino. Darren North now with the throw in wide on the left, and again a fairly stop-start start to this second half.
Yes, Craig Rankin now taking the throw, and referee saying that that was a foul throw by the looks of it. So at this level of football, that's a bit unusual, but there it goes. Another throw to be taken by Olympic now. Baz Giampaolo laying the ball back to Fernandez. Fernandez looking to pass it to one of his forwards up the front, but there was nobody up there. John Paul Janke couldn't quite get to the ball. There's a quickly taken throw now from Popovic, and John Paul Janke just trying to get past two of his defenders there. But the combination of number 4 for Southern Cross, Ian Shaw, and Bruce Grasick, the goal scorer of that first half, the second goal for Southern Cross, just putting the ball out. And in fact, it looks like it will be a throw-in, or in fact, it looks like it's a corner about to be taken by
Gordon Dunster, the referee, hurrying play up there by going and chasing the ball himself, which is a little unusual considering Olympic are down 2-1. You think they'd be trying to hurry play up, and it's Nagos Popovic to take the corner in front of a large crowd of people. No, in fact, it's a throw-in after all of that. And the long throw there by Nagos Popovic, and a bit of a melee in there trying to get the ball out, and eventually it falls for an Olympic throw-in to be taken in front of us here by Toplika Popovic. And as we said in the first half, a lot of the play was down this Olympics left and Southern Cross's right, and it seems to have reversed so far in the second half, with players like Toplika Popovic becoming more involved. But now it's Spiros Siros on the wide there out wide there for Olympic. Gives the ball onto Janke. Janke trying to get the ball across into the penalty area, but it was well tackled there, and the ball just falling out wide here, where Ian Shaw hooks it downfield. Pangallo looking to chase, but Descarella's coming off his line, clears the ball out well, and out for a throw-in.
And Descarella's was well off his line there, almost reminiscent of Higuita back in the World Cup games for Colombia there, as Descarella's had to come some 20 metres out of his goal to clear that ball, as it looked like a dangerous opportunity there for Southern Cross, but still Southern Cross in possession now, holding the ball up, and just a back flick there from Danny Serena, just failed to find his fellow forward Johnny Nelson there. But now it's still Southern Cross trying to hold the ball up, and Olympic players, the ball just sort of going from player to player, bouncing, ricocheting off players, in fact, as there's not enough room to pass the ball effectively at the moment, as the play is very much congested in the midfield. And again, it's now Danny Serena on the ball. Serena pushes the ball wide to Tony Pangallo, but the ball was cut out from Pangallo. Now, in fact, it's Olympic back in possession through Janke. Janke coming down the left-hand side of the field. Still Janke on the ball, coming around his player, trying a long-range shot, but this time straight into the arms of Mitch Siggs for Southern Cross, who throws the ball out, and his fullback just pushes the ball upfield, and it's Luke Georgeski leaving the ball now to Ian Shaw. Shaw thumping it upfield, but only as far as Con Cobas for Olympic, who puts the ball out for a throw to Southern Cross right on halfway.
Yes, about 10 minutes gone here in this second half, and the score still 2-1 to Southern Cross. The throw there being taken by Craig Rankin down the line, trying to link up with Danny Serena down there. The cross floated in and over the goal line for a goal kick to be taken down there at the Olympic end of the park down there. And Michael Descarales showing a bit of urgency, runs off to pick up the ball, places it down quickly for Ambrosino to take the goal kick.
The interesting thing about this grand final, Murray, is that both of these teams have got a unique opportunity to put their name on the trophy for the first time. Surprisingly, Olympic has never won the grand final, or certainly not since 1975. It's been the big four of Juventus, Canberra Deakin, Belconnen and Tuggeranong United, who are the major winners of grand finals since 1975. And Olympic, of course, are have risen from the ashes of Down Olympic, and they've come back through the second division, and to their credit, they have reached the grand final in their second year back in, while Southern Cross Club, of course, just a team that was formed a few years ago through the activities of a very active committee that has brought one of the major licensed clubs in Canberra into soccer, Southern Cross Club, and what a great achievement they have got here this afternoon to make this grand final, the 1993 grand final. So it'll be interesting to see which of these teams, Murray, becomes 1993 champion in the ACT Premier League.
Yes, I was just thinking then as you were speaking, with this rain continuing to fall fairly heavily out here at Woden Park, it's just going to make trying to get that second goal for Olympic all that more difficult. And as we speak, it's Fernandez in the ball now, trying to get the shot in. Ball might fall for him. There he has the shot, and the ball has just gone wide. It might still go in. There it is. It's a goal for Olympic there. Persistency there by Fernandez. And the goal scorer there is Tarkus Arvanitis there with the tap in on the line. And the score now, Olympic 2, Southern Cross 2. And that ties this game up out here at Woden Park Oval. Tarkus Arvanitis tapping the ball in there on the line after some very hard work out wide on the right there by Vic Fernandez Jr. 2-2 here at Woden Park.
So that was a great effort there by young Vic Fernandez as he jinked his way through a very solid Southern Cross defence. Very persistent work there. Fernandez didn't let up as the ball was blocked a couple of times, and the ball crossed into the goal mouth, and in fact it just had to be tapped over the goal line to give Olympic the equaliser. So Olympic 2, Southern Cross 2.
Yes, I opened my mouth and said how difficult it was going to be for Olympic to score a second goal in these trying conditions, and within seconds they did. So the old curse of the commentator there coming into play again, and 2-2, and now the likelihood of extra time is back with us, and the likelihood of a penalty in the penalties being taken place in the dark out here is more and more likely. A free kick awarded smack bang on halfway to be taken here by Angelo Ambrosino. Just a bit of confusion as to who the goal scorer was, but I'm fairly sure it was Tarkus Arvanitis out wide there on the left. And as we said many times, very difficult to see out here due to the conditions.
And that, of course, was exactly what coach Oscar Langoni would have wanted from his team, Murray. But Olympic, 1 goal down. They had to come back into this game early, and they did that 9 minutes into the second half. A great bit of work there by Vic Fernandez. He's been toiling away in the midfield. He hasn't been doing anything spectacular, but he's been an honest toiler all afternoon there. And just on that occasion, he managed to force his way through a very solid Southern Cross defence and set up that goal for Takis Arvanitis. So it's interesting to note that both sides, the fullbacks are the ones that are doing the scoring. So we've got number 2 and number 3 from Southern Cross, and number 3 from Olympic, scoring 3 of the goals out of the 4 so far.
Yes, certainly makes it easier for a coach when your fullbacks are popping up and scoring some of the goals. It certainly takes the weight off your attackers as well. But it becomes a different ball game now at 2-2 and a free kick to be taken out there by Tuggeranong. A lot of problems holding his footing there, and the ball not going too far. Really wet conditions out here now. The ball just sitting up every time the ball's passed. It really needs to be hit quite firmly if the ball is likely to roll. And certainly in the middle around that centre circle, a lot of water developing, and the throw in out here to be taken by Popovic, I think that is. And he just knocks the ball down the line for Jenke. Jenke trying to flick the ball past his defender there, but the ball comes off his body and goes out for a throw in to be taken by Bruce Grasick. The big throw down the line, just trying to get some easy yards. Falls there for Vic Fernandez Jr. Trying to link up again with Tuggeranong, and he loses the ball, but well cleaned up there by Concobas. And he finds Tarkus Arvanitis, who gets the shot on goal, but well cleaned up at the back there by Ian Shaw, the Southern Cross defender. And again, persistency by Olympic, winning them the ball back, but they lose it again there out wide on the right. And now it's Southern Cross on the ball. Concobas losing the ball out wide there, and play getting a little scrappy. And yes, the referee Gordon Dunster awards the free kick, and in their attempt to quickly take the free kick, Southern Cross kicked it into one of the Olympic players, and the referee Gordon Dunster just asking him to take that free kick again, but that free kick turned out to be a throw-in. So the throw-in being taken out there by Southern Cross, and the cross coming across now. That's a great cross there, and Dascarales, and the goal is good. Goal has been scored down there, and as soon as Olympic make it 2-2, it's back to 3-2. Just trying to pick up who the goal scorer is. The high cross coming in. Dascarales stayed firmly on his line, didn't know whether to come or go, and a great header there, beat him to his left and into the top right-hand corner of the goal.
Well, I think it was Pangello, Murray, on that occasion, as he rose above the other defenders to head home that goal. So with that goal, it's now Southern Cross 3, Olympic 2.
Yes. So again, a high-scoring affair. They've been high-scoring affairs all season between Olympic and Southern Cross, and again, it continues today. 3-2 now, Southern Cross leading Olympic, and on a day that I would have said would have been difficult to score goals, they're scoring quite a few. And now Southern Cross breaking free again out wide there on the right, well cleaned up at the back there by one of the Olympic defenders. Just running through some of the scores that we've seen so far this year in games between Olympic and Southern Cross. Certainly, I've already mentioned that major semi-final was 5-1 to Southern Cross. Southern Cross also beat Olympic on August the 29th 2-1. It was 4-3 on July the 11th in round 2 there. Olympic running out the winners there 4-3 and 3-2 the first round. So there's been no shortage of goals when these two teams meet. That's probably why there's such a good crowd out here to witness. Certainly, I'd say Canberra's 2 premier soccer teams fighting it out here for the 1993 ACT Premier League soccer final. A good crowd out here, considering the conditions, considering the weather.
Well, I think it's a great credit to both coaches too, Murray, that both Oscar Langoni and Ian Haywood have adopted attacking tactics. They've been very positive in the formations they've used, and the players, of course, have rallied to their coach's instructions and are playing very attractive soccer. So 3-2 in a grand final is not a bad score, and we still got something like 35 minutes, 40 minutes of the second half to go, and obviously the scores can still fluctuate, but great result for Canberra soccer so far, and obviously both teams will be hoping to just put their mark even more on this match. At this stage, of course, Southern Cross 3, Olympic 2.
Yes, throw in there taken by Popovic. Just trying to still determine who that goal scorer of the third Southern Cross goal was. We think we've just heard from the crowd that it might have been Luka Drzeski, but we'll try and find that out officially for you as Concobas cleans up the ball there in the midfield, and the ball flighted across there by Popovic to Baz Giampaolo, and Baz Giampaolo gets a bit of a push there, but referee Gordon Dunster denies the appeals of the crowd there for a penalty and awards the corner to be taken there by John Paul Jenke.
And I think Sebastian Giampolo there was trying to milk that for all it was worth. He was trying to go for that penalty, shielding the ball well and then falling over, but Gordon Dunster was on the spot and he judged the situation to be no more than a corner, and a corner of course is very, very important under these conditions, as Mitch Siegs just rises for that ball, clutching it safely in his grasp, as now Southern Cross come away and the ball rebounds off the back of number 7, Arseni Popovic of Olympic, and it'll be a throw to Southern Cross to be taken now by, looks like Darryl North coming across to take it, and quickly taken throw looking for Pangallo. Pangallo laying it back to North. North couldn't do much with it, losing the ball to Vic Fernandez. Fernandez looking for Janke. Janke just putting the ball forward but miskicking it, and in fact it's Southern Cross back in possession, laying the ball back, and Giampolo coming forward to menace his players, his opposition defenders, as the ball just ricochets between players, and in the end it's Olympic now who come away with the ball, pushing it across field, trying to hold it. Number 9, Nigos Popovic laying it back, and it's Olympic now coming forward through
Spiros out wide there on the left, trying to beat the defender out wide there on the right for Southern Cross, and throwing quickly taken there by Tugg Savanides, trying to link up with Jenke, who tries to turn his man and does so, and now just menacing his defender there. I think that was actually Giampolo, and it was, and the throw taken wide there by Avanides gets the ball inside for Jenke.
And there's one of the reserves for Olympic warming up at this stage, so it'll be interesting to see what changes Oscar Langoni will bring in, but it looks like Leo Mastoris is warming up, so we'll see what the outcome of that will be. Maybe he's just wanting to gee his players along a bit, as Southern Cross's Ian Shaw just puts the ball out there for Glenn Armstrong rather puts the ball out for a throw to Olympic. So the minute's ticking away, Murray. The contest is still relatively even though Southern Cross is leading. Olympic have got every opportunity to come back into this game, as with that shot. 35-metre thundering drive.
Certainly got a right foot on him, does Arseni Popovic. He's really unleashed it twice today. One of them resulted in a goal, rifling into the top corner of Mitchell Siegs' net, and that one just went fraction over the bar and out for a goal kick, but certainly got a right foot on him, and Siegs really, I doubt, would have seen that one coming at him, and sort of dived valiantly, but the ball, fortunately for him, passed over the bar as the goal kick taken there. The header contested out there by Nagos Popovic, and the ball just knocked down the line harmlessly. Ambrosino cleans up, tries to knock the ball further forward.
Well, referee Gordon Dunster not liking that challenge there from Nigos Popovic, a little bit too strong, and it's a free kick to be taken by number 3 for Southern Cross, Craig Rankin. So Rankin just taking his time, waiting for someone to make a move. Rankin puts the ball forward. Not a real good attempt, as it just comes down the flank. And in fact, the attempted clearance there comes off the back of Danny Serena. So a throw in now to Olympic. Well, both of these coaches have had their share of injury worries, but the player that we thought was going to be quite a problem from Oscar Langoni's point of view, Takis Arvanites, has certainly stood up to this afternoon's encounter, Murray.
Yes, certainly one of the players of the match so far for mine, Takis Arvanites, but there's been a lot of good performances out there, a lot of guts and determination being showed also by certainly Vic Fernandez in Olympic's second goal there, when it appeared that Mitchell Siegs had got control of it. He pestered away at him and managed to get the ball out and across onto the line for Tugg Savanides to score. So Vic Fernandez certainly having a good game, as is the person who just took that rifling, thunderous right foot shot. Arseni Popovic also playing very well on the wide, in the middle, in the middle there for Olympic, as a player in front of us is just being attended to, and the goal kick to be taken there by Ambrosino. And what about Southern Cross, Steve? Who do you think some of their better players for today?
Well, I think it's been quite a good team effort from Southern Cross. I think Johnny Nelson has done his best to keep his team focused on what they need to do, and Obviously the defence, Craig Rankin, Bruce Grassick have also played their part. I don't think the forward line has come into it as much as I thought they would have. Tony Pangallo and Danny Serena have had their opportunities, but I think it's been a team effort. And as we speak, a great attempt there, just nodded away by the Olympic defence as Fernandez now comes away, pushes the ball wide for Popovic. Popovic now looking for someone to make a move. In fact, he takes the ball himself, puts the long ball through to John Janke. Can John Paul Janke get to it? Certainly Ian Shaw for Southern Cross was taking no chances, waited till Janke got to him and then put the ball out for a throw. Now it's Vic Fernandez for Olympic. Fernandez is waiting for someone to make a move. Giampolo does so, holds the ball up well. Giampolo using his body well, and again achieves what he set out to do. He got a corner out of that situation. He couldn't really do much more as he was hemmed in by number 5 and number 6, Glenn Armstrong and Luch Georgievski from Southern Cross. But Giampolo on that occasion played for a corner and he got it. And now the corner about to be taken, quickly brought in by Arvanites, and a tremendous corner from Arvanites, curled in and just punched out from the left-hand corner there by Mitch Siggs, and a lucky let-off there for Southern Cross, Murray.
Certainly handy when you've got players, sort of left-foot players in your team, when they can curl corners in like that. It really causes trouble for keepers to have that ball starting out wide and curling back into them, and that's exactly what happened there. And it looked for a moment there that someone was going to pop in on that back post and stick the header past Mitchell Siggs there. But it didn't happen, and the score is still remaining 3-2 out here to Southern Cross as one of the Southern Cross players breaks down the right there, but well cleaned up at the back there by Spiros, I think it was. And the ball going out for a throw-in to be taken by Darryl North, and he's taking his time taking this throw-in. And I suppose he can too, because he's up 3-2. He's up by that 1 goal. So certainly be interesting to see how Southern Cross approach this sort of last half an hour to 20 minutes. It'll be interesting to see if they still push forward in search of another, or maybe sit back on the lead. And this ball falls there well for one of the Southern Cross players, and he stabbed at his shot, and the ball. He leant back on his shot and the ball went well over the bar and didn't in fact trouble Michael Descarales, but certainly it was a good chance there. I think it might have been Luka Georgievski again who took that shot, and the ball, as we said, the ball went back and didn't trouble. He went back and the ball didn't trouble the goalkeeper for Olympic, Michael Descarales. But the free kick taken in the middle of the park there by Tarkas Arvanites, and he'll again try and curl one of those left foot balls of his into the penalty area, and certainly one of the Popovic brothers there with his arm up in the air, and an attempted short pass there to Jenke came unstuck. Well, didn't in fact came unstuck, but just put him under a lot of pressure, and certainly with the ball in the middle of the park there, with the water in the middle of the park, it certainly makes it difficult to get control as the ball comes out wide here for Nagos Popovic, who loses the ball, and Danny Serena finds himself in some space on the left-hand side of the field. He attempts to beat Angelo Ambrosino, and does in fact, tries to get his shot in, and does get his shot in, and the ball is fumbled there by the goalkeeper Michael Descarales, and fortunately the ball going out for a corner there, but could have come horribly unstuck. We've already seen in one of the earlier games today a keeper's handling error lead to a very important goal, and that certainly would have been the sealer if that shot then had have gone in for Southern Cross.
It was a great effort there by Danny Serena. He got the ball about 25 metres out, worked his way infield. A short corner taken now quickly as Southern Cross try to force the advantage, and in the end it looks like an offside decision.
Yep.
But great work, as I've mentioned before, by Danny Serena, and his attempt was just barely blocked there by Michael Descarales and went out for a corner. But Serena, one of the characters of Canberra soccer. He's also a very accomplished sportsman, not only in soccer but also in baseball. I believe is going to be playing for the National League and Canberra's entrant in the baseball National League.
He's attempting to win a spot in the Canberra Bushrangers side, but certainly, as you said, certainly a well-rounded sportsman. Ball falling in there in the middle of the park there for Nagos Popovic, and he in turn finds his brother. Forgotten which order, what I said the first time, and the ball falling out wide there for John Paul Jenke, but he loses the ball in attempting to jink and turn past Craig Rankin, and Craig Rankin indeed turns him, and looks inside and tries to find Darryl North, who puts the ball straight back out wide on the left of Rankin. Rankin's left foot cross, just sort of bobbling around in the penalty area, and cleaned up in there by Con Kobas, and he finds Arvanitis out wide and out there on the left. These very heavy conditions are making the players quite tired. It's difficult to run, as any sportsman would know, on a very waterlogged surface, and it certainly takes it out the calves and the hamstrings, and certainly late in the late stages of these second half, players will be getting tired, and you can see now that the game's opening up quite considerably as the players do get tired, and people don't mark their defenders quite so tightly. As the ball there being cleared out by Conchovas, but not very far, because he couldn't really connect with it. And there's a chance here in the box for one of these Southern Cross attackers. It was Lee Hamilton there trying to get at the better of Spiros there, but the ball falling out wide here on to Arseni Popovic, and certainly Steve opening up a bit here in the last few minutes.
Yes, well, Olympic, I think, are starting to realise that they have to come forward to get that equaliser back, but in doing so, they're exposing their back line a little bit, and Southern Cross are taking advantage of those lapses or the move forward, and Olympic is finding it a little bit hard to find their men at the moment. Some of the passes are getting stuck in this heavy pitch, and as a result they're getting caught out even more when they try and move forward, because the passes just aren't finding their target. And in the meantime, a change about to be made in the Olympic side, as number 15 for Olympic is going on, and
I think that's Leo Mastoris. We don't have a list of players in front of us with the correct numbers. We do have a list of players, but I'm fairly sure that that's Leo Mastoris is coming on there. And I didn't see the player who was substituted. Did you, Steve?
We've got quite a crowd in front of us blocking our vision from that, so no, we didn't see his number. As brave save there by Mitch Siggs keeps Olympic at bay, and it'll be nerves now starting to appear in the Olympic side as they realise that minutes are ticking away. There's a little over 16, 17 minutes left at this stage, so I guess there's enough time to get the equaliser, but certainly as they're trying for that equaliser, as we said before, they do tend to be caught a little bit short at the back, and now Southern Cross just trying to come forward but losing the ball, and in fact referee Gordon Dunster has blown for another free kick. Even though there have been a few free kicks in this game, Murray, I think the match has been played in an extremely exemplary way by both teams. It's a hard-fought game, but it has been a fairly clean game.
Yeah, I think that's just something about the quality of the teams. They don't have to resort to that sort of niggling tactics as the cross coming in there, and a player who we can't quite see there, attempting the header to get past the keeper Michael Descarales. The ball just going out for throw. Yeah, there's something about the quality of the two teams that they don't need to resort to that niggling sort of tactics that we see more often, more and more, I should say, in soccer these days. And they're just getting about their job, trying to score the goals and playing some very attractive soccer. As the cross coming across there, and Descarales punches it clear, playing some very attractive soccer in conditions that aren't suited to playing very attractive soccer. But as I said before, I mean, games so far this year have produced many goals between these two sides. And that's basically because they get down to it. They've got a lot of attacking potential, and they don't worry about the niggle and all that sort of stuff that goes on. And they just get about to trying to score some goals, and that's exactly what they've done so far today. 3-2 the score out here. Southern Cross leading Olympic, and as Steve said, not too long to go in the second half, maybe 12-15 minutes, and the free kick to be taken down there by Angelo Ambrosino, who pumps the ball forward, and Arseni Popovic in the middle of the field there, trying to hold off his defender there, Lee Hamilton, and the free kick taken quickly, and the offside trap there, very effective in catching one of the Southern Cross attackers offside. But certainly, Steve, if Olympic are to look to get that third goal, how do you see them scoring it, on the break or?
Well, that's what they're attempting to do, but in fact the breaks are coming from Southern Cross, and as on this occasion now we've got Danny Serena trying to turn back, quite a congested goal mouth, and the ball just ricocheting off players as Olympic now try and clear the ball upfield looking for one of their players. Yes, Murray, I think a break looks like being the way that they could do it, and talking about a break, it's now Giampolo losing the ball in that quagmire in the middle of the field, as Olympic try and press forward. And certainly to their credit, they haven't given up, and there's a long way to go, so neither should they give up. But they're certainly trying their darndest to try and peg back this lead that Southern Cross Club have achieved. So 3-2 to Southern Cross at the moment, but Olympic coming up now with a corner to be taken by number 9, Nigosh Popovic. And these are all very, very dangerous circumstances for Southern Cross now, as all the Olympic players are up in the Southern Cross area as the ball comes off the head of Giampolo. And Janky on the ball. Just Nigosh Popovic rather pushes the ball in. And a clear header there by number 5, Toplika Popovic. And the ball, in fact, appeared to have hit the upright there too, Murray. So what a let-off for Southern Cross.
It's twice this game that I can recall that Mitchell Sig has been beaten, only to have the woodwork deny Olympic. And as you said there, Toplika Popovic with the header. He had a free header in the middle of the box there, which has got to be a bit of a worry for Southern Cross's coach, Ian Hayward. And the header that hit, as we said, beat Mitchell Siggs but didn't beat the woodwork, and so the score still remains Southern Cross 3, Olympic 2, and a bit of urgency creeping into Olympics game now. They realise that there's not a lot of time. They're desperate to win this game and add it to the minor premiership trophy that they're going to receive at Soccer Federation from the Soccer Federation, and the ball now going out there for a throw-in to be taken down there by, looks like Tarkas Arvanitis again.
It's interesting to note, Murray, that Southern Cross have now dropped back into defence while Olympic are pushing all their men upfield. So, again, credit to the coaches for adopting attacking tactics. For Southern Cross, there's only the lone striker up at the moment, and he's now joined by Danny Serena and their other forward, Lee Gibson. But it was only Tony Pangallo that was holding the fort up the front for Southern Cross. And in fact, it looks like a free kick now going to, well, it's a throw into Southern Cross, quickly taken by Rankin. Grassick rather, Grassick pushing it forward to Gibson. Gibson just turning on the ball, pushing it inwards, infield, but cut out by Olympic. Olympic pushing it upfield to Arseni Popovic, who looks for one of his front players. I think it's the new player. Leo Mastoris was on the ball, and now the ball's coming across field back to Giampolo. Giampolo gets around one man, just a nice touch, that's all that was needed, and still Giampolo on the ball. Players hanging off him, realising that Giampolo can get through, and he does so. And Giampolo now lays the ball back to Georgieski. Georgieski takes a shot, and the ball just blocked by Southern Cross, and another corner to Olympic, Murray.
Yes, I think it was a shot there by Toplika Popovic, and the corner again to be curled in by Tarkas Arvanitis, and again his left foot causing nightmares to Mitchell Stiggs, and again ball curled in towards that far post, but Gordon Dunster's found an infringement in the box there, and the free kick being awarded to Southern Cross, which seems a bit of an anti-climax to what seemed like a fairly good opportunity for Olympic to post that equaliser, and Olympic making sure that ball gets down the other end so that they can take that free kick quickly.
Well, Murray, about the only constant factor this afternoon here, the constant that hasn't let up, is the rain. The rain's been pouring at almost the same intensity all afternoon, and it's making conditions gradually harder and harder as it's becoming quite a quagmire in the middle of the field, as there have been something like this is the third match of the afternoon on. And obviously conditions are deteriorating, but all credit to the players, they're still sticking to their task, as Olympic now try and get through. John Janky has been a very hard toiler and brought down from behind, and it looks like there could be a booking here, as John Paul Janky was just brought down from behind there by one of the Southern Cross players. I think
that's Georgievski there.
Georgievski, one of the again, one of the experienced players in the Southern Cross outfit. He, former Inter Mineiro player, and still proving a very useful addition to Southern Cross. The ball headed away there by Gibson. Olympic back in control through Mastoris, and just headed away from in front of the waiting Giampolo. Giampolo doesn't seem to be doing much at times, but he's always looking menacing, Murray.
Oh, here's a chance for Giampolo. Almost a rugby tackle there by Mitchell Stiggs. The ball cleared off the line there by Olympic, and he's awarded it.
Yes, there's a penalty, and you're quite right. There was a rugby tackle by Mitchell Stiggs on the man we were talking about a minute ago, Sebastian Giampolo. just very cool, try to get to the ball, and obviously Mitch Siggs was just as intent that he didn't get to the ball. But in the meantime, of course, you don't use rugby tackles in this code of ours, and referee Gordon Dunster had no hesitation in pointing to the spot.
And it looks like it'll be Baz Giampaolo to take the penalty, and Gordon Dunster just having a quick few words to say to Mitchell Siggs here. And it'd be interesting to see if he produces a card here, because that's certainly a goal-scoring opportunity that Giampaolo had there. And given the fact that Siggs is the last line of defence, that almost is a red card offence.
Well, under the new rules of the game, I think there would be no hesitation by many referees to send a player off for that offence. But I guess Gordon Dunster is realising the importance of this occasion, and he's obviously spoken to Mitch Siggs about his rush of blood, but it's now Giampaolo attempting to put his team back on level terms, and does so very easily as Sebastian Giampaolo puts the equaliser in. Olympic 3, Southern Cross 3. So this game has really come alive, Murray.
Yes, certainly that penalty there making it Olympic 3, Southern Cross 3, and what a game we've seen out here today. The goal scorer there, the penalty by Sebastian Giampaolo, and 3-all the score out here now. But yeah, as you said, that penalties certainly, I mean, they seem very easy, but in conditions such as this, when you've got a wet penalty spot, a heavy ball, a muddy penalty spot and a heavy ball, that penalty wouldn't have been all that easy for Giampaolo to take.
No, that was, obviously there were nerves associated with that as well, and Giampaolo has played at various levels, from State League to National League, and obviously he's this would still be a very important penalty that he took there, and he certainly didn't make any mistake. Cool as a cucumber, just put it away to level the scores. Olympic 3, Southern Cross 3. So with something like 12 minutes, 10, in fact it's less than that, there's about 8 minutes of normal time left. So Murray, your prediction about playing this under simulated flood-like conditions with cars across the field could actually come true, as the scores are locked level at 3-all, and if it's 3-all at full time, of course, extra time and then penalty shootout. Yes,
and imagine a few players out there getting fairly tired at this stage. As we mentioned, the conditions of the ground make it all that much harder to run, and it makes really tells on your fitness. And Olympic have made one replacement. I imagine they'll certainly wait before they make that second replacement, but Southern Cross still got 2 fresh replacements that they can use. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those replacements maybe being used by Ian Hayward fairly shortly. But just going back to that goal again, it was persistency by Giampaolo that really made that goal. He kept trying to get past Siggs there, and eventually Siggs realised that he had to bring him down to prevent the goal, and did so, and the penalty was awarded.
Yes, and as we discussed, the logical outcome of an offence like that normally could have meant a red card for Siggs. I guess it's credit to Gordon Dunster for not giving him a red card, but I guess Olympic wouldn't be feeling very complimentary about that decision by Gordon Dunster. They'd rather see the goalkeeper off.
Yeah, certainly, and here's another goal-scoring opportunity for them, but Siggs off his line well. For mine, Giampaolo looked a little offside there, but the referee on the far side, Chris Blain, said that he was onside when the ball was kicked. And there's certainly a chance there for Giampaolo. The ball never fell for him, but Siggs off his line well. And as I've said it a few times today, but six goals in conditions like this really says something about the quality of these two sides. And so Gordon Dunster awards the free kick in the middle of the park, and it'll be Darryl North to take it.
Well, Murray, according to my calculations, there's about 6 minutes left, 5-6 minutes. I'm not quite sure how much time Gordon Dunster will add on for stoppages, but it must dent Southern Cross's confidence at this stage, having led for much of the second half, to all of a sudden find themselves on level terms. I wonder what it does to their confidence at this stage. Yes,
certainly. Every time one team seems to get a roll on, the other team fights right back. We saw Olympic equalise through Arvanitis in this second half, and then straight after that, Southern Cross scored with a header to make it 3-2. As we speak, Gordon Dunster is booking one of the Southern Cross players for a fairly inappropriate tackle there, and the free kick to be taken by Angelo Ambrosino. And floats that ball into the penalty area, and the ball there falling for Ian Shaw, the Southern Cross defender. And now Southern Cross with a good chance to break here as Danny Serena and Lee Hamilton trying to link up with each other. But good bit of defence at the back there. And Southern Cross now breaking with Vic Fernandez Jr. And offside there on the far side, awarded by the linesman there, Chris Blain. And Olympic, with that third goal and the equaliser, have found a new lease of life.
They certainly have, and John Paul Janke appears to have gone into a central striker's role, which is a little bit surprising, as I think his speed was very useful and very dangerous from Southern Cross's point of view, but it looks like he's in the centre of the attacking force now for Olympic, and certainly Olympic are starting to put a little bit more pressure on now, as Southern Cross realise that they now have to hold on for a few more minutes in order to go into extra time or score that all-important goal to put them ahead. And now it's a long throw specialist, Craig Rankin, now taking the throw. Southern Cross putting the ball in, and cleared there by one of the Olympic players, or one of the Southern Cross players rather, because it's a goal kick to be taken by Michael Descarolis. So the urgency on both teams, of course. They would much rather score a goal at this stage, not have to go into extra time, but minutes ticking away, and obviously the urgency of both teams is apparent now as well.
Yes, as Southern Cross try and break in the middle of the field there, the ball falling for Vic Fernandez, who attempted to get the ball to Arseni Popovic, but the ball fell there for Tony Pangella, but he had the ball taken off him by Popovic in the end, and again offside by Arseni Popovic as Olympic breakthrough. And Olympics supporters have been fairly quiet for about the last 10-15 minutes. Have also found a new lease of life, and that certainly is affecting their team as Olympic strive for the winner with just only a few minutes of normal time left.
So the 1993 Grand Final, who's it going to be, Murray?
Well, that's putting me on the spot at 3-3 with 2 minutes to go in normal time. I don't know, I could say the team who scores the next goal will probably win, but that would be a little obvious.
Well, on Soccer Scene, we've been putting our guests on the spot, and as we talk, Leo Mestoris, the replacement, just failed to get around the keeper. Nice work there by Mitch Siggs as he put his man off the ball. We've been asking our guests on the Soccer Scene for the last few weeks, Murray, to tip who's going to win this, and well, the tipping has been as close as the matches. I think most people have tipped either one or the other, and the opportunities for both of these teams to put the match beyond the other team's grasp has eluded the team. So obviously I've got myself in a bit of a tangle there, Murray.
I understand what you're trying to say.
It's a draw.
As the free kick now for the tackle by Darren North to be taken by Ambrosino, who again floats the ball into the penalty area. And header well won there, but Siggs comes out well and takes the ball very valiantly over the top of two of his defenders. And
I think he's hurt himself, Murray.
Yeah, he fell down fairly badly.
Very brave catch. Would have made a good mark in another code of football in VFL. And as he caught the ball, he came down very hard on his back, and that was rather unfortunate that he just threw that ball out. I guess if he wants treatment, he should have put the ball out. Maybe that's what his teammates ought to be thinking of, because he doesn't look real good backing goals.
Yes, as the ball now just breaking down on the left, and I think a throw-in to be taken there by Southern Cross. Can't be too many minutes left in normal time. And certainly the Olympic bench, sort of bit of movement on the Olympic bench, suggesting that they're in readiness for extra time, as Southern Cross now with the ball wide on the left, and the cross just floated straight into the Olympic keeper, Michael Descarolis, who gets the ball out quickly. A lot of urgency there. Maybe he'd rather see it finished in the game finished in normal time, as the ball there stops for Ian Shaw, and Gianpaolo wins the ball back, and you can hear the Olympic crowd getting fairly excited in the background. Gianpaolo links up with Jenke. Jenke tries to beat one of his defenders. He beats another one, and Gordon seems to be brought down there in the challenge there, but referee Gordon Dunster ruling that he dived and told him to play on. But it's still Olympic with the chance, as Popovic attempts to knock the ball into the middle. It's cleared well there by the defenders. One of the problems that's really arising now, Steve, it's very evident, is that players are waiting players are used to dry conditions and the ball rolling onto the foot, and they're waiting for the ball, and the ball's stopping in the wet conditions, and it's enabling the attackers to run through and steal the ball off them.
It certainly is, Murray, and the conditions are getting worse as this match wears on. So that sort of situation will become even more pronounced. But now it's Olympic trying to get the ball away, and they just clear it upfield, hoping for that referee's whistle to go. But obviously there's still a few minutes remaining, and while those minutes are ticking away, Southern Cross now have the throw quickly taken now. As Pangallo tries to jink around his man, comes around his man, gets off the ground, puts the ball into the centre of the in front of the goalpost, but it was cleared there by number 6. No,
it was, I think it was Ambrosino with the left foot clearance that deflected off one of the Southern Cross players, and it's gone out. So Olympic have won the throw there, and that's it. That's the end of normal time there. Referee Gordon Dunster blowing it up, and the players now converge into the middle of the park for their respective team talks about how they're going to approach this extra time period. But what we might do is take a break and then come back for extra time. 3-3 out here between Olympic and Southern Cross in the final of the ACT Premier League soccer final. You're listening to Sunday Live.
Hey, everyone knows when they have half.
So we're back out here at Woden Park, the game recommencing here, just waiting for the kickoff to begin extra time. And Gordon Dunster just writing in his notebook, checking with both his linesmen, and plays underway here in the second half. It's Olympic to kick off, and Giampaolo on the ball now, trying to link up wide, stops the ball dead in the middle of the field there, which was extremely aided by the fact that it's so wet. And here's a chance for Southern Cross as Descaralis clears off his line, Steve.
Yes, well, obviously this is going to be an interesting test of commitment from both of these teams, Murray. Grand final, difficult enough under normal circumstances. Under the current circumstances that these players are playing under, it's absolutely atrocious. The rain just pelting down here, and of course the players are equal to the task, but it's giving them a very hard, it's making their task a lot harder than, as I said, even under normal circumstances it would be.
And it is getting a lot darker, as we mentioned, Steve, which is not only making our job a lot harder, but it's making the job for the players a lot harder. And as the game continues, no doubt, with the light fading as it will, it's certainly going to make conditions even harder in those last 5-10 minutes of injury time.
Well, it's now Olympic with the first corner of the the first period of extra time, actually. We're running out of halves here, Murray. We've had 2 halves of normal time, and of course we're in the first half of extra time now as Olympic's corner comes in and just lands, and a flurry or number of players around the ball, but in fact it was Mitchell Siggs, the Southern Cross keeper, who got to the ball in the end, to the relief of his teammates, as Southern Cross now come away with the ball.
Yes, breaking there wide on the left, attempting to get some attack, to link up with the attack, I should say. Knocks the ball across and finds out wide on the right there Lee Hamilton, and for one of the few occasions in this game, the ball actually skidded off the grass there rather than stopping dead like it has on the last for the last sort of half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. And Olympic there with the throw, and the ball coming off Southern Cross player for another Olympic throw to be taken again by one of the Popovich brothers there.
Well, of course, play on the flanks is a lot easier, Murray. It's not quite as muddy as it is in the centre of the field, so that's what Olympic has been trying to exploit. They've been using their fast men on the flanks. As now, as we talk, Giampaolo comes around a number of players, but in the end he's robbed by Grasic, as Giampaolo is certainly showing that he's still capable of matching these younger players at 34 years of age. He certainly hasn't been shown up by any younger legs, and in fact he has shown the players that give at least 10, 12 years away on him that how soccer should be played.
Yes, certainly having a great game. It's someone that you talk about throughout the season. Always seems to be a lot of talk about him in the media. Some people say too much talk about him in the media, but he is certainly a remarkable player and someone who continues to perform week in, week out. As you said, even at his age. There's the ball going out there for a throw-in to Southern Cross there, and no doubt they'll leave the ball for long throw specialist Craig Rankin. Will let one fly into the penalty area with the hope for a flick on. And Michael Descaralis certainly will be wary of that, and it is Rankin there with the long throw. Storrs coming back in defence for Olympic. Long throw coming in now, and out there for a corner. No.
Well, in fact, it looked like it was headed out by the Southern Cross player, but the referee is indicating that it came off one of the Olympic players' heads. So it'll be Tony Pangallo, short, diminutive Pangallo, who's very effective corners, always cause problems to the opposing defences, and he's about to take this in-swinger as he comes around. And in fact, the ball goes out and cleared by Jim Polo out to Popovic, Nestoris, in fact. But Olympic try to get the ball back, but Southern Cross back in possession now.
Ball again just stopping in the middle there, and that's right there. There's a very large amount of water right there in the middle of the field, and it certainly fell right into the middle of that. And referee Gordon Dunster finding an infringement in there, and despite pleas from Danny Serena that he's made an error, the free kick awarded there to Olympic, and to be taken again by Ambrosino, who, as he has done for most of today, will just pump the ball into the Southern Cross half, hoping that the weather and the combination of the weather and the Olympic players might create an opportunity for him. As Darryl North now breaks with the ball, attempting to link up with Danny Serena wide there on the left. And again, the ball just falling in that centre circle and stopping dead. But now it's Nagos Popovic out there wide on the right, trying to link up with John Paul Jenke, and he does that. Jenke now on the ball will be trying to get that ball across. Good cross there. Arseni Popovic going in, trying to contest that challenge, and the ball lobs up and taken there well by the keeper, Mitchell Siggs. He throws the ball out wide for Darryl North. Darryl North holding play up. Again, very evident, again, it's very evident of the players getting tired with how open the game has become in the early period of extra time here. And despite pleas from the crowd there, the Olympic crowd, Gordon Dunster again awarding a free kick to Southern Cross from what seemed a fairly innocuous challenge from Arseni Popovic.
In fact, it was Darryl North and Arseni Popovic that challenged for the ball there, Murray, and Popovic certainly wasn't real happy about that decision, but it's now North thumping the ball forward, hoping someone's on the end of it, but it's only an Olympic player who puts it out, and Georgeski now coming around his man, lifting the ball in. Good, well, cross ball, headed back into the middle by Bruce Grasick, but it fell right at the feet of Toplika Popovic there, and the ball just cleared away. But again, it's still Olympic just trying to get that ball away from their danger zone as it's cleared up field by Nestoris, or rather Nestoris is trying to get on the end of it now as
Jim Palo with a chance there. The ball might still fall for him. One of the Popovic brothers there, that's Toplika Popovic trying to get the ball in the middle there, and the ball now falling for Pangallo. Pangallo's got the ball at his feet. He's pursued by Con Tobas, and again, what looked like a fairly innocuous challenge, but the size of Pangallo certainly makes it appear that he's falling when perhaps he might have just lost his balance. If he's tripped, it makes it look as though he's tripped when he's just maybe lost his balance or been pushed off the ball, if you can understand what I'm saying. And the free kick awarded there to Southern Cross, and to be taken by a combination of Danny Serena and Johnny Nelson. And I remember in the first round watching this corresponding fixture in the first round, Johnny Nelson put one into the top right-hand corner of Michael Descaralis' net from about this distance, and Descaralis will no doubt have vivid memories about that one, and don't be surprised here if Johnny Nelson aims for that same corner.
All the Southern Cross players now moving right up Murray as Nelson just aims for the top corner again, and your prediction wasn't far off there as the ball just beat the diving hands of Dascarolis there, and also the post, as the ball was just, it appeared to be just a fraction outside of the perimeter of the goals there, so it could very easily been a spectacular goal. As it was, it was a goal kick taken by Olympic.
A substitute made during that free kick by Southern Cross, and the player that's come on, I have no idea who he is. And as Southern Cross winning the ball in the middle of the field there, Johnny Nelson linking up with Darryl North. Darryl North pursued by Arseni Popovic. He turns towards the line, North, and loses the ball. And now it's Storis again breaking away down there on the left of the field. And it'll be Arseni Popovic to take the throw there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, Murray, what happens when and if one of these teams scores a goal, what that will do to the confidence of the other. They've fought hard all afternoon, and at 3-3, it's anyone's game. And of course, if it's still this, if it's locked at 3-3 at the end of both periods of extra time, of course, then we're going to a penalty shootout. And your prediction's becoming closer and closer to a field lit by car lights.
It was said in jest, but it's looking more and more like a possibility as the game continues. It'll be interesting to see if they can find a dry penalty spot out there to take those penalties from. But let's hope, as you said, that it doesn't come down to penalties, because it really is a cruel way to decide a game. It really comes down to luck, penalty shootouts these days. And certainly in these conditions, certainly with the quality of these games, wouldn't it be good to see perhaps like a midweek decider or something like that, played under lights, maybe at I don't know, out at the AIS or something like that?
Well, that's obviously, that was the way these matches were decided in the past, but I think federations have decided that not only our own ASD federations, but others, that we can't afford to just keep the season dragging on, and this is the penultimate, well, the ultimate match basically in the competition proper, the grand final, and we really should finish it here and now. But I don't think the players would really want to go around again another 90 minutes, Murray, after they've played a hard game like this one.
Yes, a very rough challenge out there by, it looks to me to be Darryl North, as I look through the foggy window in front of us, and the challenge there, he's certainly lifted his leg and followed through on the challenge on Nagos Popovic out there. And the Gordon Dunster's had a few hard words to say to him, and his coach, the coach Oscar Langone, certainly got off the bench. He wasn't too happy with that challenge. And certainly in the latter periods of a game that's been, as we've said before, fairly clean. Certainly an incident like that fairly unwanted, as Giampaolo tries to control the ball in the box there from the free kick taken by Ambrosino. Ball falling out wide here on the right, and deflected off Tuplika Popovic out for a throw.
And Giampaolo didn't try to control it there, Murray. He did control it with that, just a beautiful deft touch of the ball. It didn't bounce away from him. And that's what ball control is all about, and how players could learn from a man of the calibre of Giampaolo. I've said often over the years that I think it's a shame that he didn't play at high levels, and watching him even now, I think just confirms my opinion that he was probably one of the all-time players that has pulled on a shirt for Canberra City, certainly at National League level. And even though others have gone on to greater things, I think Giampaolo certainly had the ability, if not the opportunity, to get further in this game.
The throw in there from Southern Cross wasted, and in fact he threw it straight over the goal line, and the goal kick taken by Ambrosino. He must be getting quite tired of hitting this waterlogged ball out of his own half, and certainly the kicks seem to be getting shorter and shorter as it goes on. And again, the ball sitting up there on the edge of the area. The Canberra, the Olympic attacker there, Nagos Popovic, tried to get past the last line of defence and thought he'd knocked the ball too far, and thus gave up the chase. But the ball stopped in the water there, and Siggs slid onto it. And was, I suppose, again lucky not to slide out of his area, and with a resulting free kick as the ball's knocked out over the sideline there, and the throw in to be taken out wide there by Olympic, and not too many minutes left in this first period of extra time.
Yes, well, we're down to the last two minutes of the first period of extra time, so it'll be interesting to just observe to see how the players cope with this extra pressure that's been added to them now. Extra time, and if international rules come into play, Murray, I think after extra time you go into a period where first team scoring actually wins the grand final. I don't think we're playing that quite at this stage, but certainly some of the youth teams competing at international level have been playing under those rules now for the last few months.
Yes, certainly at the recent World Youth Cup that was held out here in Australia, that was the conditions that the first team to score first in extra time was the winner. But as you said, I'm fairly certain that that's not the case out here. Certainly 2 periods of extra time, both 15 minutes a half, will be played out here, and team leading at the end of that is the winner, of course. Otherwise, it's the dreaded penalty shootout as Olympic break down wide on the right there with Nagos Popovic tries to whip the ball in from the right-hand flank and only succeeds in putting it out for a goal kick.
Well, the other interesting point here that we should comment on, Murray, is the fact that one of Giampaolo's contemporaries of years gone by is here as well this afternoon. Walter Valeri is the man I'm talking about, and Valeri, of course, is with the Southern Cross Club. So it'd be interesting from the keen soccer supporters' point of view to see their former idols of year gone by play against each other instead of with the combination that Giampaolo and Valeri developed in years gone by. But Ian Hayward hasn't seen fit to bring Walter Valeri on at this stage, and I don't think Walter would be all that keen to come on under these conditions with a heavy pitch the way it is. Wouldn't be doing his knees very much good, and I know that he's suffered quite badly over the last few years with injuries.
Storis there with a gutsy challenge in the middle there, attempting to win the header, and Con Cobas losing the ball out there, and in fact I think he's awarded a handball. The referee Gordon Dunster awarding a handball there, and the free kick quickly taken by Johnny Nelson, who knocks it to Darryl North, who hits it straight back to him. Danny Serena finds the ball at his feet out there wide on the left, but he's well tackled out there by Tarkas Arvanitis, and Giampaolo chasing the ball. And certainly play slowed down the last couple of minutes. They couldn't keep it at the pace it's been going for the last half an hour as the wind really rips up here, and added to the rain, certainly making playing conditions all that more difficult, as we've said all afternoon. Still 3-3 here at Woden Park between Olympic and Southern Cross. If you've just tuned in, final of the ACT Premier League. 3 goals all here in extra time. It was 3 goals all at the end of normal time, and there it is. It's the end of the first period of extra time. We'll take a break. It's 3-3, as I said, between Olympic and Southern Cross out here at the final of the ACT Premier League. We'll take a break and we'll be back with the final period and maybe the penalty shootout. But you're listening to Sunday Live.
This is only about a minute or so, you know. Well, we'll get somebody to do that for us, right?
You there, Mike? Well, come straight back to us. You put a card on? Okay, what up? Okay, righto. Yep, okay, good. Let me hear it. Okay, good. Yes, second half straight underway out here at Woden Park in the final of the ACT Premier League soccer game between Olympic and Southern Cross. 3-3 still to score, and 15 minutes away from penalty shootouts as Ambrosino with the ball out wide on the right-hand side of the field, and he just knocks the ball harmlessly over the sideline for a Southern Cross throw to be taken just in front of the commentary box here. And now it's Vic Fernandez showing some good determination late in the game, trying to win the ball there. Vic Fernandez certainly his determination set up the second goal that we saw, but now it's Giampaolo on the ball, and he links up in turn on the right there, and it's ruled to be a dive there. Just trying to see who the player was. I think it...
Plika Popovic was brought down, and he certainly made most of that situation. I do think he deserved more than just... I think it was a little bit more than a dive, Murray.
Yes, he ran running with the ball at his feet there, and got into the penalty area, and There certainly was some contact there, but the referee, Gordon Dunster, realising that the challenge was a dive, but just as I speak, there's certainly a chance there fell for Leo Mastoris, and the ball was floated in wide from the left, and the header was missed there, and the ball fell to the feet of Mastoris, who had the chance for the volley, and volleyed it straight over the top, and had an acre of time actually in there, but he stabbed at it. He wasn't to know the time that he had, and probably almost had time to bring it down and control it inside for the pass, Mitchell Siggs, but it wasn't to be. And the score still remains 3-all out here at Woden Park.
And the substitution, Murray, for Southern Cross Club, Lee Hamilton has come off. Lee Gibson Hamilton, number 9, has been replaced by Alan Rankin, number 16. So Rankin, quite a goal-sniffing sort of a player, is on, and it'll be interesting to see whether he can get that all-important, that all-elusive goal that Southern Cross is now looking for.
And as you speak, it looks to be another Southern Cross player warming up there, so maybe Ian Hayward looking to make his second replacement.
Well, that's Walter Valeri, in fact, warming up, and I said a few minutes ago that he wouldn't really be keen to get out, but by the same token, it looks like he's very keen to get out there. He's got his knees strapped up, and he's...
Maybe Ian Hayward's thinking of penalties. Do you think Walter Valeri would be one to take a penalty?
Certainly would. Valeri's got an incredible shot on him, and in fact, his mastery of these conditions may not go astray either, so that's probably not a bad decision on Ian Hayward's part to bring Walter Valeri on with only, say, 10 minutes or so remaining of the second half. That would not test Walter's knee to all that much that he's being shown. For our linesman Exposito, Frank Exposito, is now trying to get Walter Valeri's number acknowledged, and in fact the change is about to be made.
I think it's Georgeski coming off there.
Yes, it is. Georgeski comes off and Walter Valeri on. So what a replacement to bring on. Southern Cross Club very fortunate to have a man of Walter Valeri's experience, and I'd like to know what those two men, Valeri and Giampolo, are now feeling in this important match, and they're playing against each other rather than their customary dual striking combination that they used to be employed in for Canberra City.
As the ball floated across there by Arseni Popovic, who's having a great game, as we've said numerous times. Falls now at the feet of Tarks Arvanitis, who looks to shoot from 40 yards. And Mitchell Siggs made that chance look a little harder than it was by slipping over just before he was going to pick the ball up. But he safely controlled the ball and pumps it upfield into the quagmire in the centre circle. And now with two Rankins on the field, I should say, just making a job just all that bit more harder, Steve.
Well, it's in the Brothers Stakes, it's Olympic leading by 3 brothers to 2 at this stage, we could say.
It certainly is, and certainly with another Rankin on the sideline, although he certainly can't be brought on, but certainly, as we've said before, 3 Rankins for Southern Cross and 3 Popovic brothers for Olympic, as a fairly rough challenge again there results in a free kick for Olympic to be taken out wide there by Tarkas Arvanitis. No, in fact, he leaves it for Nagos Popovic, and we'll just float this ball into the penalty area. And this is actually a fairly good chance for Olympic, although it's just a free kick. We really are in the dying stages of this game, and Southern Cross have dropped almost all their players back as the free kick is floated in, and the ball just going wide past the Mitchell Siggs' far post, and it's been ruled to come off one of the Southern Cross players, and the referee Gordon Dunster has awarded a corner. And again, Arvanitis will come over and curl the ball in for another corner. There hasn't been a lot of goalmouth action in extra time, and this certainly is a chance as Arvanitis curls the ball in. Siggs stays on his line, doesn't know whether to come or go. The clearance is made there. There's a chance here for Jenky to shoot. He beats one man, he'll get a shot in. He gets the shot in, but deflected off the line and cleared out in the end there by Southern Cross. That certainly was a chance for John Paul Jenky, but with the amount of bodies that were in the penalty area, it was like threading the eye of a needle to try and get a shot on goal there. But
there was a great attempt by John Paul Jenky there, Murray, as he had a lot of bodies in front of him, but he still managed to squeeze off a very hard shot, but blocked by a player in the end. But I notice those legs are getting very tight on both sides. One of the Southern Cross defenders there was certainly having problems and showing signs of cramp there. And that will be a worrying sign from Ian Hayward's point of view, as he wants his players to really be pushing for this for the next 12, 13 minutes that are left of this second stage of extra time of this 1993 Grand Final.
Yep, still 3-3 here, and just minutes away from the beginning of what we feared, the penalty shootout. Actually, it hasn't got quite as dark as I thought it might. Here's a chance now wide on the right for Nagos Popovic. He turns over the ball, Ian Shaw on his back, and he's doing valiantly out there against 4 defenders and wins himself the throw-in. And Olympic been camped in Southern Cross's territory for the last few minutes of this game, and certainly continuing the pressure late here in the late stages of this game.
So it's Nagos Popovic now with the throw. Attempts a long throw, looking for his brother Arseni Popovic, and in fact the ball is cleared by number 4 for the Southern Cross Club, Ian Shaw, and it'll be yet another throw to Olympic.
Olympic, if I'm not wrong, Steve, still have another replacement to use. I think they've only used one. I think Leon Mistoris is the only replacement.
Yes, that's correct. They have got a number of options to utilise.
Elliot Zwangabani is a player I've given a few reps to over the last couple of weeks, and he's certainly been playing a strong part for them the last couple of weeks with the injury of Mark Arthur. But maybe he's a chance to get on the field as the long throw results.
Who would you take off, Murray?
Yes, well, that's exactly the point. There's a lot of tired legs, and the good thing about the Olympic side, I suppose, is the experience they've got at the back there. And with Zwangabani playing in sort of the right back, left back position for them the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't really want to take off either Arvanitis or Con Kovas. And again, that ball goes the corner from
Takis Arvanitis there, and it was headed out by the Southern Cross defence for another corner on the other side, and that's to be taken now by Nagos Popovic. And the total playing complement of almost both teams, or totally in front of the Southern Cross goal now, as Southern Cross just clear that ball upfield, hoping to find someone, but it's Olympic, in fact, who are back in possession through Arseni Popovic, going away on the left-hand side, crossing the ball, looking for number 15, Mistoris, but the ball went to the keeper, Mitchell Siggs for Southern Cross, and Southern Cross live again, as Siggs just boots the ball upfield, towering kick. And Siggs' hero, or his most, the player that he looks up to, is none other than Mark Bosnich, the former Australian keeper, the Socceroo keeper. And of all the pen portraits, Murray, that I've read from the players, it was interesting to note that the only Australian player picked by either of these teams is Mark Bosnich. All the other players, their favourite players, have been players like Papon and international players. But as we talk back to the game, and it looks like a throw.
No, it's a free kick being awarded here to Olympic. Referee Gordon Dunster having a few words with Michael Dascaralis, who realised that he'd made a bit of an error by coming too far out of his goal, and in his valiant attempts to put the ball over the sideline, cleaned up the Southern Cross attacker down there, and the free kick awarded by Gordon Dunster. I think a yellow card showing there, although we can't see.
Well, that's interesting if he gets booked for that, and in the first half, of course,
exactly
Mitch
right.
Siggs didn't get booked for that penalty, so well, obviously Gordon Dunster a lot closer to the action than we are, but there's a booking under somewhat, I guess, controversial circumstances on that occasion, as the free kick comes in now.
Yes, and cleared away there by one of the Olympic defenders, and a wicked deflection there. I think one of the Olympic defenders kicked the ball straight into a Southern Cross player. The ball certainly went goalward, but luckily for Olympic, just wide, and Olympic live to fight again, and goal kick to be taken by Angelo Ambrosino, and there can't be too long left in this second period of extra time. Penalty shootouts, as we said, is what happens at the end if it's still locked, but Olympic now with the chances. Mistoris breaks away. They've won a throw-in, perhaps the last throw of the dice for Olympic, and Arseni Popovic over there to take the throw-in, and they'll just be looking to whip that ball quickly into the penalty box, and hopefully get an Olympic head on it, as Mistoris tries to get into the box there, but the ball taken away at his feet by Ian Shaw. Pangallo now links up with Serena, and Serena on the break, but there it is again, the ball just completely stopping dead.
Well, Serena went water skiing there, Murray, as he tried to get through there. The ball just completely bogged down in the quagmire in the middle of the field, and Sweeney just went sailing past almost on skis or water skis.
Sort of slid into third base there. And Ian Shaw cleaning up the dregs at the back now. Just puts the ball out wide. And the ball for one of the Rankin brothers. And he slices the ball straight out. Vic Fernandez now with the throw. And just quickly looking to get this ball back into the middle, in the middle of the park again. A good cross there. And here's a chance if he turns. Giampaolo has a shot, but it's deflected out wide for another corner. And a great cross there, flat, hard and low. And the ball certainly causing troubles for the defence there for Southern Cross.
Nice control there by Giampaolo again. Brought the ball under control, turned on the sixpence, but the ball booted off his foot.
I thought you might mention that somehow, Steve. And now it's Arvanitis again with the corner. He's had a couple corners late in the game here, down in this far corner. And we'll just be looking to curl that ball in towards the back post. Where players of the likes of all three of the Popovich brothers certainly looking to pounce on it. Vic Fernandez just on the edge of the area, wanting to clean up the dregs. And the ball floated across now. And Danny Serena gets the head on the ball there. And it's cleared out for...
Well, it's yet another corner, as it came off a Southern Cross player there, Murray. And couldn't help thinking that Southern Cross might have had time to clear that again, but they just sort of stood back to watch that ball a little bit.
Yes, it's certainly right, Steve, and it looks to be, I think that's one of the Popovich brothers again taking the corner, and due to the wet conditions in the corner, he couldn't get the ball the whole way across, and free kick awarded in the middle of the 18-yard box there by the referee Gordon Dunster. And so, unfortunately, as we've said it before, it looks as though it's all going to come down to penalties.
Well, of course, while we say unfortunately, it's unfortunate from the player's point of view that it should finish under those circumstances. The penalty shootouts can be very exciting affairs, of course. Stay tuned for what will eventually be the deciding kick here this afternoon or this evening at some stage in this match. But we may be talking a little bit too early. As Southern Cross come around, and Southern Cross with a great opportunity there to...
Tony Pangallo there controlling the ball in the 18-yard box and just couldn't quite get past the despairing dive of keeper Michael Vascarales, who pushed the ball out for a corner. Which is surely almost got to be about the last kick of the game and certainly the last throw of the dice for Southern Cross.
Well, I'd like to know what the coaches are thinking at this stage.
Yeah, I imagine certainly a few nerves for Ian Haywood and Oscar Langoni. Probably gone through a few fingernails. As the ball floats across there, they still can't clear the ball completely, Olympic. And out wide on the ball there, Ambrosino. And he manages to win a throw-in. And throw-in to be taken there by the player, by Angelo Ambrosino himself, I think.
Well, through a maze of umbrellas, you picked the play there, Murray, as the ball taken by Ambrosino, or the throw taken, and it's out for another throw again. And there goes the whistle to indicate full time now, of extra time, the end of extra time in this 1993 grand final. At regulation time, the scores were 3-all. 15 minutes extra time each way has failed to break the deadlock. So now we face the drama of a penalty shootout. And as we've commented all afternoon, Murray, I guess you put the mockers on this game. You said that very early on in the piece, that it'd be a pity if it ended in a penalty shootout. And in many ways, yes, it is a great pity that neither team could just dominate or exert their dominance over the other in regulation time or extra time. But now it's penalties, and again, this adds another dimension of drama to the 1993 grand final. So we just wait for the players to sort out their order of taking the penalty shots. And of course, the way it works, Murray, is that we have one goalkeeper taking a shot or preparing to save a shot from his opponents, and it's done turnabout. So one Olympic penalty will be taken, and then one Southern Cross.
Yes, and it's the best of 5, of course, and if the scores are tied, then it becomes sudden death. And it'll be interesting to see who Olympics 5 penalty takers will be. Interesting also, I thought that Oscar Langoni decided only to use one of his substitutes, but as we said, it was difficult to take any one of the Olympic players off. And unfortunately for us in a commentating sense, as the referee decides which end they're going to stage the penalty shootout, a lot of people walking onto the ground and blocking our view of the penalties. But both keepers shaking hands, both coaches shaking hands. I think basically saying bad luck, it's a shame it's come down to this. Certainly, as it said, it would be good for ACT soccer in general if the game could have been replayed on perhaps a Wednesday night under lights. I certainly imagine they would have got a fair crowd out there again. We certainly know the quality of these two teams, and another game on a Wednesday night under lights, the AIS could have, not just for soccer, but certainly in a monetary sense, could have pulled in a few more dollars, and really would have been the best result. But it's not to be. It's come down to penalty shootouts, and I think the referee's still trying to work out which end is the driest, which end has the driest penalty spot, and certainly both teams working out who's going to take their penalties. Certainly Baz Giampaolo will be one of them. He took the penalty in normal time for Olympic that got them square at 3-3, and
it was Craig Rankin for Southern Cross, one of the first goal scorer of the afternoon. He scored from the penalty spot in the 6th minute. So, as you say, it'll be interesting to see who the final penalty takers are going to be, Murray. But I would imagine that both Craig Rankin and Giampaolo would figure prominently for their respective sides. And the man you mentioned, the one who came on in the second half, Walter Valeri, I didn't sort of see Walter get too many touches of the ball during the period when he came on. So I guess he'll be very keen to at least add his name to one of the penalties. So we'll see in just a couple of moments what will happen here. But so far, historically, the winners in the ACT Premier League the last 2 years, 91 and 92, Tuggeranong United were the grand final winners, and Tuggeranong United, of course, missed out by losing to Olympic just last week to get into their 3rd successive grand final. So it'll be one of the new teams into the competition to.
They seem to be taking the penalties at the far end, which seems a little strange. It certainly makes our job all that much more harder.
Well, fortunately, we've got a monitor which looks like coming into its own at the moment. It's Craig Rankin carrying the ball. So we'll see whether the camera work can keep us in touch here as the sea of umbrellas just sort of totally surround the goals. And it looks like we're saved, Murray, by some expert camera work here.
If we can just pick up the numbers on the backs of the players, we'd imagine that's Craig Rankin. And Michael Descaralis has already attempted to save one Craig Rankin penalty so far today, without any luck. And he'll be attempting to do the same thing again. Yep, number 3 there, that's Craig Rankin. So the most experienced penalty taker in the Southern Cross team stepping up first, which is fairly unusual actually. They usually leave the experienced penalty taker to later on in the group of 5. But I suppose getting that one on the board early would certainly be a psychological advantage. 3-3 at the end of extra time in the final of the ACT Premier League soccer game for 1993, and it's come down to penalties. And the first one to be taken by Southern Cross, and the penalty taker is Craig Rankin. And the goalkeepers, of course, Descaralis for Olympic, Michael Descaralis, and for Southern Cross, it's Mitchell Six.
So now it's the psychology between the two players, or see who can impose his will on the other here, as goalkeepers generally try and use a little bit of one-upsmanship to try and put the penalty taker off his game. And I'm sure that there'll be some words said out there, and they're not words of encouragement, as the first goal is put away by Craig Rankin.
Yes, as we look at our monitor, that makes it 1-0 to Southern Cross. The first goal being steered away. Goalkeeper Michael Descaralis went left and went to his left, and the ball went to his right. So that's 1-0.
And now it's Arseni Popovic for Olympic, coming up to take the penalty for Olympic.
I think that might actually... Oh, no, you're right. Arseni Popovic, I'm sorry, Steve.
Ever anything different, Murray? Just don't doubt me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to doubt you. I saw the locks of long hair and I thought it might have been Tarkas Arvanitis. As we said, we can't see the game directly. We're just looking at it on a television monitor. And he steps up and he nets his penalty as well. So that's 1-1.
Well, so far both teams taking it quite coolly and calmly, as now the goalkeepers change, of course, and it'll be interesting to see who the penalty taker here is, and it looks like
Walter Valeri.
Walter Valeri.
Yes, there's the knee guard.
Yep.
The dead giveaway. And Don't know whether he'll place it. You've probably seen him take more penalties than I have, Steve. Or is he just going to blast this one with his...
He's got a very powerful left foot. And I'd hate to put the mockers on Walter on this. But there he goes with a right foot shot and rifles it straight past the keeper. No mistake on that one.
Not too many keepers in the world would have saved that shot just quietly. He's really just nailed that one past Michael Dascaralis. Stepped up, cool as cucumber, and now it's Vic Fernandez Jr. to take the second penalty for Olympic. Neither team's missed one yet, so it's 2-1 to Southern Cross, and Fernandez now to make it 2-all. A lot of mind games going on between Mitchell Siggs and Vic Fernandez Jr. Gordon Dunster blows the whistle, and Fernandez steps in. It's been saved by Siggs, and there it is. It's a first miss, and Vic Fernandez Jr. Mitchell Siggs has guessed the right way. He's gone to his left, and that was the way the ball went. And 2-1 now the score to Southern Cross, and they have the lead and the advantage, and it's Tony Pangallo stepping up to take the next penalty.
That must be a terribly long walk back if you miss a penalty like that, Murray. Obviously the nerves are there, and have to go back to your teammates and accept their condolences. Must not be one of the things that you want to do at this stage of the game.
And it puts the pressure on Michael Dascaralis now. He's got to save one of these penalties. Tony Pangallo steps up now, and he's missed it as well. Completely missed the goal there, and makes the score even now. Oh no, sorry, that's still 2-1, but Olympic now with the kick to come, and it's Nagos Popovic, and again Tony Pangallo bows his head, walks back, and it's very unfortunate, as you said. I'll certainly use a long walk back to that centre square after you've missed one, but now it's Popovic with the penalty, and he's hit it straight at the keeper. So that's 3 missed in a row, and Southern Cross still hold the advantage.
Well, that's what we were talking about before, Murray, the drama of these penalty shootouts. How must you feel? You're the next man in, you know, that you have to put the ball away. And that goalkeeper's not going to make life easy for you. As we're trying to see who the next player, it looks like number
15 is one of these substitutes, which I think was Alan Rankin. Yes, looks like the other Rankin brother, Alan
16,
Rankin.
in fact, Alan
16,
Rankin,
yeah.
yep.
And again, Dascaralis, the pressure on him. He's got to save this one. Southern Cross leading in this penalty shootout 2-1 after score 3-all at the end of normal time. And Alan Rankin now with the next penalty. Dunstan blows his whistle, so whenever he's ready. And he's gone the right way again. So that's 4 in a row. That's 4 in a row that they've missed. And he bows his head and takes the long walk back. So it's still 2-1. We've had 4 misses in a row, and that was a great save from Dascaralis. That wasn't a bad kick. That wasn't a bad penalty. That was just a great save. He's launched himself to his left. The ball wasn't hit all that firmly, but it was a great save nonetheless. And it's Ambrosino now with the chance to level things up again.
So the experienced head of Angelo Ambrosino, see what he can do now.
And this is this is only the 4th, I'm sorry. This is the 4th of the 5 kicks. If he misses this...
and Ambrosino puts it away. Well, a great penalty there from Angelo Ambrosino.
A lot of movement on the line there from
cool.
Mitchell Siggs before the ball was taken. The kick was taken. And Johnny Nelson is the 5th and last for Southern Cross. And it's 2-all now, and this is the 5th of the 5. So this is now basically sudden death. If Nelson misses this and the next Olympic player gets his, then it's Olympics title, and the same vice versa. So it's really come down to sudden death here. And you certainly need some nerves now, these penalty takers.
How would you like to be Johnny Nelson at this moment, Murray?
Not very much at all. But as we said, he's an ACT Premier League Player of the Year from 1992, and so he's certainly got a good soccer head on his shoulders, and he'll know exactly what to do. Hit it low and hard, and hopefully Dascaralis won't guess the way he's going. But really, certainly the nerves coming into it now. It's Nelson versus Dascaralis.
And Nelson moves in and slots the ball easily as Dascaralis made the move the wrong way. Just wrong-footed Dascaralis. Nelson put the ball high into the net on the right-hand side. And
the most experienced of Olympics penalty takers now, Baz Giampaolo. And you'd expect, I don't want to put the mockers on him, but you'd expect him to net his, which would leave it at 3-all. But if he misses this, it's Southern Cross's title. And so a lot of very nervous Southern Cross players out there knowing that this is the chance as he steps up now. And he's got his too. So that's it. It's all locked over. It's 3-all after the 5 penalty kicks. And very casual, just 2 steps up to the ball and cracked it into the top corner. And Danny Serena now is the next player to step up. And it's down to Southern Death. 3-all after injury time and 3-all after the first set of 5 penalty kicks. So you just can't separate these teams.
Both teams have been a credit to their clubs, and it's great to see them play this game in the spirit that it's been played in. And obviously the only pity is that there's got to be a loser, but loser there must be, or a winner, I guess, is the positive way of looking at it. There's going to be the 1993 champion decided within the next couple of kicks, I guess, as now it's Danny Serena takes up to take the kick and just calmly slots it past Descarolis, who went the wrong way on that occasion. So at this stage, it's Southern Cross 4 leading Olympic by 3 goals as number 3.
Tarkus Arvanitis.
Arvanitis takes his turn at the penalty shot, Murray.
Yes, and he's got a fairly solid left foot, but he wasn't one of the 5 preferred penalty takers. So you know, obviously either didn't fancy himself or his coach Oscar Langoni didn't fancy him. But this is it. This is the chance. Ooh, Siggs went the right way, but he still netted it, and so still nothing separates these teams. It's 4-all now after 6 penalty kicks each, and we start getting down to players who really would have been hoping that they weren't taking their penalty kicks, and that looks as though it's number 4 for Southern Cross, who is Ian Shaw, veteran defender, and Descarolis taking his time to get back into position, just letting Ian Shaw know all about it, letting the nerves get to Ian Shaw. Descarolis knows that he's got the mental or the psychological advantage. And he steps up now, Ian Shaw. And it's a great save by Descarolis. So here's a chance for Olympic. Ian Shaw's hit that one high.
No, the referee's disallowed it. The referee's disallowed it.
No, that's just ridiculous for mine. If we're going to start saying that the keeper's moved too early, then we could stop every single penalty kick that there's been. And that really is a farce. I think he's asking him to take that again. He's saying, take that. I'm sorry, but that's a farce. I mean, if we're going to start nitpicking like that, then every penalty that's been taken and missed so far could be asked to be taken again.
Well, the only unbelievable part of that, Murray, is that the ball went straight at the keeper. So
what's the advantage of diving first? I mean,
yep.
he hasn't moved off his spot. He's just moved his body. So he hasn't even time. So that's. Yeah, as Shaw comes in now, and he's put it over the top again. So perhaps justice was done there. He scooped it twice. The first one he hit high at Descarolis, and the second one he put about 6 foot over the top of the bar.
Well, you sort of wonder who's disadvantaged by taking it again. Obviously, the player taking the initial shot.
He's got to think about it all over again. And Ian Shaw, who's played so well during the 120 minutes of normal and injury time, and the chance now to win the game has fallen on the shoulders of Toplika Popovic. And I imagine there'll be some fairly jubilant scenes if he's to nail this.
So the man that Southern Cross's fate hangs on at the moment is Mitchell Siggs. Can he stop this shot from Toplika Popovic, or is Olympic going to be the 1993 minor, 1993
I think you'll hear all about it if they do. Here it comes. And he's netted it, and there it is. Olympic are the 1993 ACT Soccer League, Premier League champions, and a great penalty kick there. Just before we talk about the scenes that are going on out here, there's flares and everything going on out here, but we've got the penalty kick taken there by Toplika Popovic. Siggs went to his left and the ball went to his right, so a great kick taken there. And congratulations to Canberra Olympic, who are not only the minor premiers for 1993, but they're also the Final Four champions. And people running around with flags out here. There's all the Olympic players diving all over each other. The Southern Cross players just walking off now. They are obviously disappointed. And full credit to the Southern Cross team, who tried valiantly and have produced an absolutely sensational game of soccer out here, considering the conditions. And I suppose not only full credit to Southern Cross for that, full credit to both sides. So, Steve, that's it. Olympic the winners.
Certainly, Murray. It's been a great year for Olympic, and I guess Graham Cook made mention of the fact that it was only fitting that Olympic take out the minor premiership in the year that Sydney gets the Olympics. So if that's fitting, I guess it's just fitting for Olympic to become the 1993 champions in the ACT Premier League, as Sydney won the Olympics, and as we mentioned, Olympic by their very name now carry on the winning formula, and Olympic take out the 1993 championship. One must feel sorry for Southern Cross. They fought very hard here this afternoon. In fact, they controlled much of the game. They led for much of the first half and the periods of the second half again, until Olympic equalised early in the second half. But as we said, we feel sorry for Southern Cross in the final analysis, but the match winners, the champions there can only be one, and this year it's Olympic.
Yes, there'll certainly be a few quiet beers flowing down at the Hellenic Club tonight, and thoroughly deserved. I imagine there'll be a few tired legs out there. They really, really did have to battle hard for that victory, but they got there in the end, and it came down to penalties, and they've taken it out 6 goals to 5, or is it 5 goals to 4? It's 5 goals to 4. And so certainly you can see that it was a very, very close game. 3-3 up the score after extra time. 5-4 the score in penalty shootouts. I know we've got other station commitments, so I better take you back. On behalf of myself and Steve, thanks very much for that, Steve. It's been a great game, and you're listening to Sunday Live. I know we've got some baseball coming up, so I'll throw it back to the studio. Thanks very much.
Yeah.